They tied a record in Cleveland yesterday with a high of 84 degrees. More of the same today, Paul. Kickoff temperature 80 degrees, and it's a matchup between two teams that simply don't like each other.
You know, we had a chance yesterday to talk to Hanford Dixon, and the one man that really put it as beautifully as I can put it, he said, this is a gut check. We don't, put everything else aside. This we go at each other.
Browns won the toss. Eric Metcalf waiting for the kickoff from Gary Anderson, 4 or 5 yards deep into the end zone. It's a touchback, and the Cleveland offense will start today at their own 20-yard line. Cleveland comes in with a record of 3-2, and let's look at their offensive line. Comprised of Farron, Banker, Riccozzi, Fike, and Rison up front protecting Bernie Kosar. Kosar joined in the backfield by Tim Manoa and Eric Metcalf, the sensational rookie from Texas. The wideouts, Webster Slaughter and Brian Brennan getting the start today due to the injury to Reggie Langhorne. Newsom, the tight end. And when they go to the 4 wideouts, the 4 wide receivers, Metcalf will go into a slot, and Gerald McNeil will also come into the game. First and 10 for the Browns, their own 20-yard line. It's Metcalf. And he doesn't get much across the 21 to the 22-yard line, wrapped up in a hurry by the rookie from UCLA, Carnell Lake. Gerald Williams also in on this stop. This Pittsburgh Steelers defense was outstanding last Sunday in the loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Up front, they got Willis, Williams, and Johnson. Hinkle gets the start instead of Gerald Williams today, joined by Little, Nickerson, and Lloyd as the outside linebacker. Woodruff, Woodson, and Lake, along with Thomas Everett in the secondary. 2nd and 8 for the Browns, their own 22-yard line. 3 wideouts. Manoa, the only one in the backfield. First pass attempt of the day for Kosar, off the fingertips of Ozzie Newsom, the tight end. So it'll bring up 3rd and 8. And with the Pittsburgh Steelers bringing the extra defensive backs.
And here they come.
They will bring in the dime package right now. They'll drop out their linebackers. 3 linebackers will come out. They'll bring in an extra down lineman, Aaron Jones. The 2 extra defensive backs will be Delton Hall and Larry Griffin. And the wide receivers, the extra ones coming in now. Gerald McNeil. And Reggie Langhorne for the Cleveland Browns. It's a shotgun formation on 3rd and 8 from the 22 for Cleveland. Kosar with time. Finds his wide receiver. He's right past the 30 for a first down. That's Gerald McNeil on the reception. Belted immediately by Delton Hall. But a long throw to the wide side of the field by Bernie Kosar.
All right, McNeil, number 89, is going to go out there on Hall, who's 35. But just watch what McNeil does. Look where the marker is. See the 30? All right, he gets beyond the 30 to the 32. He gets knocked back here by Hall, but he had the first down. Good mark by the official. In fact, they were even a little bit short on the deal, but he did get the first down.
This Cleveland offense has really had problems, Paul, generating points over the last couple of weeks with only 2 touchdowns over the last 2 games. Metcalf tries to turn the corner on the sweep play. From his own 31, he's to the 33-yard line, where he's pushed out of bounds by Carnell Lake. 2nd-round draft choice for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've got a number of young players that are integral parts of this team, especially on the defensive side.
Well, Lake is in there making the play, but Brian Hinkle, number 53, now you know why he's starting over Gerald Williams. He's just an excellent linebacker. He strings everything to the outside and just makes it possible for the defensive backs to make the play.
It's now 2nd and 8 with the ball at the 33. Movement on the line, flags into the air. It could be a free down for Kosar as he rifles it for his man, and it's complete to Ozzie Newsom, the Wizard of Oz, the tight end. Now, if the play stands, that'll make it 149 straight games, but Newsom has caught a pass here, second only to that long streak of Steve Largent's.
The reason the play stands and it goes through the play because it's a defensive foul. Now, had it been an offensive foul, well, then stop right there. To the left of your screen, you're going to see it. And that's Tim Johnson, number 78, who is really offside. Bernie knows he has a free play, and he goes to Ozzie sitting right there, number 82, and his streak continues.
So the Browns have another first down on that reception by Ozzie Newsom. Past the 43, near the 44. 1st and 10. Manoa, the only one in the backfield as they split out. Mike Oliphant has been injured. Back in the lineup today for the Browns. Play action for Kosar. Pressure coming, and he is sacked for the first time today by Keith Willis. Back at the 35-yard line. Willis and Johnson the two that combined for so much pressure on Boomer Esiason last week get the first sack.
All right, now watch 53 is Brian Hinkle. Manoah 42 is going to get up and block him. Here's Manoah in Hinkle's face. He's moving Manoah back, and Bernie just sees right at the last second. He sees Willis coming at him, number 93, and he's right up top. No chance to get out.
It's a loss of 9.
You were saying about Cleveland have a problem scoring. They have a problem once they get on the other side of the 50 or close to it. They keep going the other way.
Second and 19 with the ball back at the 35-yard line. 3 wide receivers in there for Bernie Kosar. This time he's got some time over the middle. It's intercepted by Woodruff. Off the fingertips of Langhorne, and the Steelers get it. At the 45 of Cleveland. Langhorne had it just barely go off his fingertips, and Dwayne Woodruff is now tied with Jack Ham on the Steeler all-time interception list.
All right. It's going to be Woodruff and Langhorne. Woodruff, see Langhorne, number 88, is coming across. Now, Little, the linebacker, lets him go inside. The ball goes off of Langhorne's hand and right into Woodruff's hand. That's just perfect position by the defense. Actually, Langhorne had him beaten. The ball was thrown a little bit too high. But if you get your hands on the ball, you should catch it.
Hodge and Worley start in the backfield today. Todd Blackledge, who's making only his 4th start over the last 2 years due to that injury to quarterback Bubby Brisker. Looks in motion. Worley breaking tackles, fumbles the ball, gets his own fumble with flags down on the play, and he's knocked down for a loss of a yard back at the 46-yard line.
You got Michael Dean Perry offside, and what did Blackledge tell us yesterday? The first thing he said, we got some things we're going to do to get him offside. John Elway 2 weeks ago we're here at Cleveland. He said if we had him in Denver, Michael Dean Perry said if we had him in Denver, I'd get him 10 times.
Defense number 78.
There's the offensive
Still
line.
first down.
Carl Harrison is called on the offside. This group has the job of protecting Todd Blackledge today. They've given up 26 sacks already this season, though. That's tops in the NFL. Hodge, Worley in the backfield. Stone and Lips the wideouts. And Mike Malarkey is the tight end. When they go to their shotgun formation, Carter will come into the game as a slot back, and the extra wide receiver is Derek Hill, the rookie from Arizona. So the penalty makes it 1st and 5 now, down to the Browns' 40-yard line. Counter goes to Warren Williams, his first carry. Breaking tackles down to the 37-yard line for a gain of 3. On the opposite side of the line, let's look at the defensive alignment for the Cleveland Browns today. And one of the toughest defenses to run the ball against. They go with a 4-3 alignment. Up front, they've got Baker and Hairston along with Michael Dean Perry. Robert Banks is not getting the start today due to an injury. He's got a stretched ligament in his knees to Tom Gibson, young man from northern Arizona. It's 2nd and 3. A short 3 at that. Close to the 37-yard line. Hodge bangs it up the middle. Very close to the first down marker at the 35-yard line. This defense is only giving up an average of 103 yards per game on the ground. One of the best run defenses in the NFL. It's that group with a lot of experience between Baker and Hairston. The linebackers, Matthews, Johnson, Grayson, and Minifield, Dixon, Wright, and Gash in the secondary. Now with the Cleveland Browns, and we'll come right back and look at their dime package when they bring in their extra defensive backs. But first, the measurement. With 10 minutes and 53 seconds left in the first quarter, and it's good enough for a first down. That run by Merrill Hodge for the Steelers.
And one thing Cleveland knows for certain, probably come out and throw now, is that Pittsburgh wants to run the football. We knew it a week ago. We did Pittsburgh against Cincinnati. If they can run the ball and get 100 yards out of Worley, they think they can win the ball game. They think the same thing in this game here.
This is the dime package for the Browns. The extra defensive backs are Blaylock and Stephen Bragg. 1st and 10 at the 35. Hodge gets the block to the outside. Carl Hairston forcing him out. The block, though, was provided by Brian Blankenship to enable him to get to the outside. Gain of close to 3 down to the 32-yard line as we look at some of the scores around the NFL. And this week number is 6. And there's an upset in the making at Soldier Field, Paul, with the Houston Oilers trailing for most of the game, but up by 5 now.
How about Miami and Cincinnati? That'll make both these teams inspired if Cincinnati gets beat.
And a big day for Herschel Walker in his Minnesota Viking debut. It's 2nd and 7. The ball at the 32-yard line. Hodge and Warren Williams in the backfield. Hodge, the motion man, on the pitch to Williams. No blocking out in front. And he's going absolutely nowhere. Same gas on the stop. Michael Dean Perry got outside as well. Little or no gain on the play. Give him about a yard. Close to the 32.
We're seeing Tunchokin, who is their best, I think, best offensive lineman coming down. They're blocking. This is away from the play, and they're just cutting Big Daddy. They don't want him in the pursuit at all.
Pittsburgh Steeler offense coming off their season high against the Bengals last week when they had 174 yards on the ground. They really want to take that pressure off Blackledge if they can. This is not what they want to see today. 3rd and 7 situations. That's what they're facing right now. Carter's in the game. They love to throw to Carter out of the backfield, and it's deflected to the line. It falls incomplete. The Brown defense coming up big after that turnover.
I don't know whether it was Baker number 60 or Hurston number 78 that knocks this down. Here, Tunchokin is on Baker number 60. There's a deal on the outside. It is Al Baker, Al Baba Baker, number 60 that knocks the ball down. They're going to try a field goal from 50 yards out.
Longest field goal so far this season for Gary Anderson has come from the 44. His career best came back in '84 against the Chargers. That was a 55-yarder. He's the most accurate place kicker in NFL history so far this season. Anderson has hit on 7 of 9, the 50-yarder on its way, and it's good. Gary Anderson puts the Steelers on the board.
I'm going to tell you something right now. They should have called motion on the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line. Number 65 came in as an end. That's John Jackson, and he's moving before the ball is snapped. Anderson knows he's got enough foot. He just wants to know if the direction is there. That's it. Guided in a little bit, just like a chip shot. 50-yard chip shot. Chuck Knoll. He made it, Chuck. Smile a little bit, though.
That's Chuck's way of getting crazy.
I know. Now take a look at the right on the left-hand side of your screen. Now watch, see the movement before the ball is snapped by number 65, right on the end. Not the up back, the one that's down. Here's the movement, then the ball is snapped. Now watch it. Right at the left, here is the movement, and the ball hadn't been snapped yet. Should have had motion and a penalty against Pittsburgh.
13 yards on the drive after the interception by Dwayne Woodruff. There's the one that Paul was talking about, the young man that lifted up for the Pittsburgh Steelers, John Jackson, the reserve tackle. We've just received a final and good news for Cleveland Brown fans and Pittsburgh Steelers fans as well, the leaders in the AFC Central. The Cincinnati Bengals fall to 4-2 now. A win for Don Shula and the Miami Dolphins, a 20-13 victory for Miami at Cincinnati. So that means the Dolphins are now the 500 mark as well at 3-3. Eric Metcalf, the deep back, waiting for the kickoff from Gary Anderson. First time he did this, he went about 4 or 5 yards into the end zone. Much shorter effort this time, though, to be taken to the 2. Metcalf with room. Past the 30. Around Anderson, needs a couple of blocks. Past the 40, brought down from behind at the 44-yard line.
Let me see it again. Eric Metcalf, he makes a move, Joe, and then steps over the kicker, Anderson. Here he comes. He's going to go to his left. And this is all Metcalf. Watch this. It is beautiful. You can put music to this, baby. Now watch the kicker, Anderson. Watch what he does to him. He puts a move on him. He goes down. Now watch. He'll step over top of him. Excuse me. Thank you. Excuse me. Goodbye. Nice. Isn't that nice?
It's out of the 44, a 42-yard return by Metcalf. 1st and 10 for the Browns. Play action for Kozar. Again, he's got pressure and throws it behind Ozzie Newsome. It falls incomplete. Kozar now 2 of 5, but he's scrambling a lot early today. Hardy Nickerson was in his face. We'd like to welcome those of you joining us from the Bengals-Miami game as the Dolphins upset Cincinnati at Riverfront Stadium, 20-13. I'm Joel Myers, along with Paul McGuire. We're at Cleveland Stadium where the Steelers have an early 3-0 lead on the Browns with 9 minutes and 19 seconds left in the first 15 minutes of play. And the Steelers getting a 49-yard field goal by Gary Anderson, accounting for their 3 points. Anderson's longest field goal so far this season. The counter to Manoah. On the reverse, they give it to Metcalf. He's got a wall of blockers. Past the 50 for a first down to the 45-yard line of Pittsburgh. First down for the Browns. We'll be right back to Cleveland Stadium, but first let's go to Bob Costas and NFL Live.
All right, Joel, while you and Paul are watching Eric Metcalf, check out Alan Pinkett of the Oilers' key play of what turned out to be a winning touchdown drive. This 60-yard run at Soldier Field. He was caught from behind, but a few plays later, Lorenzo White runs it over from 12 yards out. Moments after that, Mike Tomczak intercepted for the 4th time. 6 Bear turnovers all told, offsetting Tomczak's 3 touchdown passes. Houston has just won it. The final gun is sounded at Soldier Field. The Oilers upset the Bears 33-28.
Thank you, Bob. So that's the second straight setback for the Chicago Bears after starting out 4-0. I wouldn't want to be a Bear this week in practice with a big Bear, Mike Ditka.
You see that thing on NFL Live where they had Ditka talking about the quarterbacks talking about Ditka?
Ooh, good piece by Mike Leonard today. First and 10 inside the 45 of Pittsburgh. Mike Oliphant for a gain of close to 5. A little bit better. Down to the 39-yard line. Mark Trestman, the offensive coordinator for the Browns, told me yesterday, Oliphant, without a doubt, the quickest player on his offensive unit. Quickest player on the team.
Yeah, he is. This is an excellent football player. He was with the Washington Redskins. You know, I'm going to tell you, here's where Cleveland, so far this year, has gotten themselves in problems. They get inside the 50-yard line into their opponent's territory, and they just seem to disintegrate by stupid penalties.
Now 2nd and 5. Ball at the 39 of Pittsburgh. Metcalf on the swing. The one-handed grab. Oh, and he's ripped down. Did a flag go down because the Browns thought it was a face mask on their sideline. Carnell Lake around the helmet of Eric Metcalf, bringing him down.
He didn't grab him by the face mask. He just caught him by the shoulder pad collar and brought him down. Got to remember one thing, though. You know, Metcalf isn't that big. He goes down a little easier than most guys do. But Lake just about took his head up. And there goes Hinkle. He's trying to get inside, and that's Fike trying to block on him. Now, here's the chase, and you're going to see Lake right here. Take a look now. It's not face mask. That's his shoulder. The official was right there. There was no face mask on the play, folks.
Good call. There's a time out of the field with a 3rd and 2 situation. Facing the Cleveland Browns. Pat Haggerty, our referee today. And the instant replay official is Mark Burns. 7 minutes and 54 seconds left in the first quarter as the Browns are down by 3. But, Paul, you bring up a very good point when you say that the Browns disintegrate once they get inside the 25, 30-yard line of the opposition. Bernie Kosar told us yesterday the mental mistakes. 8 penalties last week against the Miami Dolphins. 10 penalties 2 weeks ago when we were here for the Browns' victory over the Denver Broncos.
And he takes the blame for a lot of it, too. I mean, he doesn't pass it down. He said it's my fault as much as anyone else's. So the best penetration of the day for the Cleveland Browns. They're facing a 3rd and 2. Down by 3.
Welcome to those of you just joining us now from the Chicago Bears game against the Houston Oilers, where the Oilers upset winners over the Bears by 5 after trailing most of the game. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Pittsburgh on top of Cleveland in the early going 3-0. Short yardage situation. 3rd and a short 2. With the ball outside of the 36. Manoah, their fullback, breaks tackles but still doesn't get enough for the first down. Harding Nickerson caught up with him right at the 35. And now a decision coming up.
The guy that makes the play, Joel, is Greg Lloyd, number 95. Barry Redden went in to block him and never moved him. Lloyd just stood him straight up, and Manoah hit right in the back of Barry Redden. No place to go.
First 2 games have to be considered upsets. Atlanta trying to hold on against New England. San Francisco pulling away after a 4th quarter tie of 14 apiece. Detroit still looking for their first win of the year. Some of the late starts this afternoon. The Chiefs get an early score against the LA Raiders with Bo Jackson in his first game of the year. Moving on the line on 4th down. Redden's got the first down, but the right side of the offensive line shot through. There were a couple of players, Paul, that shot through for the Cleveland Browns early.
Number 74, Paul Farron, was the first guy. I mean, you got 4th and a half a yard to go, and this is what we were talking about before about mistakes that this offensive line. This is when you make a mistake on a snap count like this. This is a mental error. This is not paying attention. Look at the right side of the screen. You'll see number 74, Barron. He's going to just take off. Watch this. He's gone. There's no reason for him not to know the count. Now you got to kick a field goal. There's no excuse for it.
So now the Browns, instead of 4th and a yard, they're looking at a punting situation with Brian Wagner coming in. Wagner will try to get it out inside the 20 with that 37.5-yard average.
Let's make a field goal, but they're way too far out. It'd be a 57-yarder, 58-yarder.
Wagner doesn't try to angle it. It's down the middle. Does he get a favorable bounce? No, it's into the end zone, and it's a touchback. So once again, things fail to materialize for the Cleveland Browns once they get deep into Pittsburgh territory, and they continue to trail by 3. Had some problems throwing things out of the dog pound, the end zone, so this is what was handed out to all the fans here at Cleveland Stadium.
Stop, signed by Hanford Dixon. Don't throw things because you could hurt someone. And this is, you know, and all the players were doing public service announcements all through Cleveland. I think it worked.
So hopefully they have rectified the problem. Right now, the Browns defense back on the field again. 1st and 10 for the Steelers at their own 20. The pitch goes to Tim Worley. He can't turn the corner. He's losing 3 yards on the play. David Grayson, the outside linebacker, the first over there.
All right, so you're going to go to the left of the screen. Take a look at it. Number 62 is Tunchoka. Now, he's trying to get outside to get a block. He gets a block on Clay Matthews, but they can't get a block on Grayson, who makes the play. That's 2 linebackers working together.
It's a loss back to the 17-yard line near the 18, so probably 2nd and 12 for the Steelers. Not the ultimate situation when you've got a quarterback making his first start of the season like Todd Blackledge is today. And it's batted down at the line by the Browns. Tom Gibson, he's a big one at 6'7", 250. Timed it perfectly.
All right, we're taking a look at Tunchoka. A week ago, we showed us in Pittsburgh. He'll tell you when it's passed. He sits back on his haunches. That time, Baker knows it's going to be passed. But there's not much you can do about it. He is an excellent blocker. And last week, he didn't have that much of a problem. He may tell you what they're going to do, whether they're going to run or pass, but he also can execute.
3rd and 12 for the Steelers. Back of their own 18-yard line. Hodgson, Carter. And Carter, one of the favorite targets, as Blackledge goes for Lips. What a reception! Past the 30, do they take it in? No, they call it an incompletion. They say it skipped into the breadbasket of Lewis Lips, working on Frank Minifield, the cornerback on that side. Lips had 8 catches last week in the 10-point loss to the Bengals. He's one of those heart and soul players for the offensive unit of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And Minifield was on him. I mean, it was excellent coverage. That ball had to be perfect to get there. And it wasn't.
One of the best punters in the NFL. Has to kick it from back inside his own 10. Harry Newsom. They call him the Cube. Gerald McNeil. Good average so far this season. Better than 10 yards a return.
Are they looking at this? They got the officials. They must be looking at it to see if Lips caught it or not.
We go to gate B, lower backcourse.
You have 2 officials there. Now, here's the shot they're taking a look at. Now, here's Lips. And here comes the ball out. Ball's out. I mean, I don't know what you're looking at. That's that away. Let's get the game started. No catch. Thank you.
Play stands. Newsom ready to punt from inside his own 5. McNeil back at the 35 of Cleveland. Newsom led the NFL last year in average over 45 yards a punt. This one's a wobbler. And a short one at that. McNeil bobbles it, falls on it. Outstanding field position coming up for the Cleveland Browns on their 3rd offensive series of the afternoon. Outside of their own 48-yard line. A 35-yard punt by Harry Newsom, way below his averages. We return to Cleveland. Back to Cleveland Stadium, Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. 3 wideouts for the Browns to start this drive outside of their own 48-yard line. And they go to the single set, Tim Manoa. Manoa for about 3 down to the 49-yard line. Bad news for Pittsburgh Steelers fans is we look at more scores around the NFL, a couple of upsets. Houston winning on the road as well as Miami. With the Giants raising their record to 5-1. Atlanta by a point hangs on to beat New England. And Detroit with 23 seconds to go scored with Rodney Peete throwing for a touchdown for their first win of the year. Some early scores in the first quarter out west. And the bad news for the Steelers fans, Rod Woodson has dislocated his shoulder. Needless to say, he is out for the day. 2nd and 7, batted right back to Kozar, who caught it. Unfortunately for the Browns, because now it's a loss way back there. Inside the 45, he would have been better off, and obviously his reactions tell him to grab it. But it's a loss all the way back to the 44-yard line.
This one, he catches his own ball here. Now, just take a look. Here, they jump up in the air. The ball is hit. The ball comes right back to Kozar. And that looked like, was that 95 Lloyd, Greg Lloyd, that knocks the ball back into his hands? That's just nice catch, Bernie. Bing, pong. Like pinball machine. Look at this. Now, that's not a sack. You can't give him a sack. He caught his own pass. He's running with the ball. He was a receiver. That's not a sack. I'm telling you.
You don't see it too often, though.
No, you don't. But you can't give him a sack.
3rd and 15. And the Browns 44 pressure again. Kozar over the middle. It's grabbed there. Taken in by Webster Slaughter, but far short of the first down marker at the 46-yard line. Dealt it immediately by Dwayne Woodruff on good coverage.
Well, at one time,
they needed 14.
Joel, at one time, Slaughter was beyond. Here comes Slaughter down now. Take a look. I'm sorry. No, he wasn't. He just never got far enough. Woodruff was there the whole time. I mean, this is a nice catch, but you're 5 yards short of the first down situation. You're going to have to punt again. You've got to know where the markers are. Again, you know, we're looking at what happens to this team when they get in the other side of the 50-yard line, Joel. This is nothing strange to this team. They make mental errors.
And now Pittsburgh not only loses Rod Woodson, one of their starters, you see the difference by quarters in points. The Browns have never been outscored in a quarter so far this season, but still they're only a game over the 500 mark coming in, so they lose Woodson, and now Derek Hill will return the punts today. It's over his head, it's headed out of bounds, and it's out inside the 2. Outstanding punt for Brian Wagner and the Cleveland Browns. Mike Oliphant, the first one down there. A 44-yard punt by Wagner, and a deep hole for the Steelers when we return to start their next offensive series.
When it comes to hauling, a lot of...
They are trying to tame the dog pound, as we have talked about, as we welcome you back to Cleveland. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Now, Paul, I've heard of silent snap counts, but I've never heard of a silent huddle. Maybe that's when the Steelers dig in the end zone there.
And you can bet they're going to be running the ball to try and get out of here.
See if they go with one of those classic Pittsburgh Steelers trap plays. Play action.
Good pass.
Blackledge out of his own end zone. Finds Lewis Lips. Past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Perfect placement on the pass.
Boy, is that a gutsy call. I'm telling you, for Blackledge, a guy that hadn't played in a long time or started in Cleveland, down in the end zone by the dog pound. Play action pass, and he hits Lips right on the money. And I'm going to tell you right now, if that ball would have been any shorter, David Grayson would have had an interception for a touchdown. Now, they're holding Perry. There's no question about that. You can't hold. That's range for 79. And Dawson. But look where this pass is. And you see 56 out there is Grayson. Perfect coverage, but a great play. Michael Dean Perry is held.
They've got that much-needed breathing room now. 1st and 10 at the 22, and Worley wrapped up, diving ahead for a couple. Near the 24-yard line. Michael Dean Perry. Clever get penetration on the line.
They have a stunt between Hairston and Michael Dean Perry, and he's going to come from his right to his left around. Nobody blocks him. He's going to make the tackle. So quick. Great strength in his lower part of his body. One guy that they fear.
Now second, close to 9. Ball between the 23 and 24. Lips and Stone, the 2 wideouts. Blackledge in trouble. Breaking tackles across the 25. He's down at the 29. Not much time, that time, for Todd Blackledge. Prior to that, though, he had been getting pretty good protection.
Well, you're going to get pretty good protection off of play action because down when they threw out of the end zone, because that freezes the linebacker. But that time the blitz was on. Clay Matthews, 57, was coming in. Blackledge read blitz right away, the man he was going to throw to. And if you look at the quarterback from his perspective, the wide receiver going down, if he does not read blitz, Joel, and gets into the right pattern, you can't throw the ball because he's your primary target right now to unload the ball. The receiver didn't look.
That time of possession has really improved, as you saw for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why they've won 2 of their last 3 games. Now they're facing a 3rd and 2. With the ball near the 30-yard line. Blackledge on the shotgun, and the ball, I believe, was tipped in the line, as Blackledge saw a lot of heat that time. He wanted Lewis Lips.
He wanted Lewis Lips, but Mark Harper was right into his face, along with Perry. You're going to see there's going to be a blitz. Perry goes outside, and here comes Harper. Perry hits Blackledge low. Harper hits him high, and Blackledge goes down, and Pittsburgh punts. This guy's some kind of player, Perry.
Harry Newsom in to punt it away once again for the Steelers. Back at his own 15-yard line. Gerald McNeil waits for it at the Browns' 24. Another wobbler, a short one from Newsom. He gets a good bounce, though, and McNeil takes it on the run. McNeil, near the 40-yard line, is put down at the 39. Gerald Williams, the first one down there on the special teams for the Pittsburgh Steelers after that 38-yard punt by Harry Newsom. And the Cleveland Browns have outstanding field position to start a drive, this time at their own 39. The last 2, Paul, have started at their own 48 and own 44, but they just haven't been able to capitalize.
2 weeks ago, they had their field position was their own average, was their own 48-yard line.
Metcalf on the counter, finds the seam, bobbles the ball, it's loose, fumble, who's got it? Near the first down marker after a nifty run by Eric Metcalf. He just lost it trying to get a couple of extra yards.
And I don't know if it was Dalton Hall that put his arm in there, number 35, and stripped the ball away. Well, Lake is saying Pittsburgh has it. Officials are saying Pittsburgh has it. They have it.
Second turnover picked up by the Pittsburgh Steelers today, and what a turnaround it has been after they gave the ball away 8 times in the first meeting between these 2 teams, but only twice over the last 4 weeks.
All right, here comes the Metcalf. Manoa gets a good block. Now watch, he'll slip to his left, and in comes number 35, Hall, right here. And he reaches in and pulls the ball out. He's the man that makes the play. Number 35, Dalton Hall. And then they end up getting the ball back.
It was an interception earlier by Dwayne Woodruff, picking the pass off after it went off the fingertips of Reggie Langhorne, and now they pick up that fumble recovery. Denver has the early lead over the Indianapolis Colts. Chiefs got on the board first with a touchdown by Christian Okoye, and New Orleans leads by 6. Hardy Nickerson, the hardware man out of the University of California. He calls those defensive signals. First and 10 for the Steelers at the Browns' 49-yard line. They go with the reverse, a little razzle-dazzle. It's back to Blackledge. Fires for Malarkey. It's a first down and then some inside the 30. He's still on his feet. Inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. And another fight almost breaks out between Merrill Hodge downfield with Felix Wright.
Felix Wright in the game.
Minifield was in there with Hodge, I think. And this is super play, because what happens is that Malarkey, when he catches the ball, nobody touches him, so he gets up and starts to run. Hodge gets in there to get a block, and he and Minifield almost get into it.
That's the final play of the first quarter. When we come back, Steelers will have it at the 19 of the first quarter on a 49-yard field goal by Gary Anderson. The Pittsburgh Steelers with a 3-0 lead over the Cleveland Browns. And welcome back to Cleveland once again. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. And whenever we come to Cleveland now, we've got it figured out, Paul. When you get those munchies around halftime, Bernie Kosar and his new candy bar.
Can you see this? Isn't this wonderful? We have all kinds of props for you today, folks. We have messages. We have candy bars. You know the interesting thing about this candy bar, though? You know where this is made? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
2.5 hours away. And Bernie told us yesterday the only reason he agreed to do this because it goes to charity. The Project Learn, the proceeds, and Bernie told us that kids are dropping out of school right now at an alarming rate, and he wanted to do whatever he could to Project Learn.
That's terrific.
First and 10 on the first play of the second quarter for the Steelers, down to the Browns' 19-yard line. The trap to Warren Williams goes absolutely nowhere. Stacked up at the original line for no gain. Mike Malarkey on that razzle-dazzle. Big play for the Steelers.
All right, let's go back to the catch. Now watch what happens here. Here's Malarkey. He catches it. Now Minifield's just moving out. And here comes Hodge. He comes in and hits him because he knows that Malarkey can get up. Minifield gets upset. Gash comes in to help out on the play, along with Wright. But he picks up another 8 yards by heads-up football.
2nd and 10. Right at the 19-yard line. They go with trips on the short side of the field. Derek Hill, the only one now, is joined by Carter on the far side. Pressure comes. Blackledge is hit. Sack for the Browns. And Tom Gibson, the first one in there, dropping Blackledge all the way back at the 27-yard line.
And the sacks continue for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, we knew this was going to be a tough defensive game. As Hanford Dixon said, it's a gut check. But just take a look. To the left of your screen, here comes Gibson. He just runs right by John Jackson. And here's Tuncha. Remember we talked about when he sits back on his haunches? Now Baker knows that that they're going to throw the ball. Baker still can't get there, but Gibson from the other side can. I don't care if Tuncha if he shows every play, he still can block. He's the best blocker they have.
3rd and 18. Back at the 27. Out of the shotgun, Blackledge going into the end zone. And he wanted Derek Hill, but Hill was all tangled up on the far side. And for Dixon providing the coverage. Numbers through the first 15 minutes of play. Very close. The one thing the Steelers need to do more than anything else, Paul, is improve upon that rushing game. And the Browns, they can't keep giving the ball away.
That's their biggest problem. Once they cross the 50-yard line, they either make mistakes, either fumble the ball, throw an interception, which Bernie last week threw 2, and that was only his 2nd and 3rd. But, throwing interceptions or fumbling.
45-yard field goal attempt on its way. The line drive effort is no good by Anderson. Looked like he sculled a 3-iron on that shot. We'll be right back to Cleveland as it remains a 3-0 lead for the Steelers.
It looked like Anderson hit a 3-iron and scalded. Watch his head. Look at. He didn't have to look up. He just looked straight down the field. He knows the ball didn't get up in the air. It's lucky it wasn't blocked. He never had to raise his eyes.
So it remains a 3-0 lead for the Steelers with 13:31 left in the 2nd quarter. Play action for Bernie Kosar. Going deep and throwing it right to Thomas Everett. It's picked off by the Steelers. Everett inside the 40. Everett pulled down as Kosar put out his shoulder and got him inside the 30 all the way at the 27-yard line of Cleveland. 2nd interception of the day for Bernie Kosar, and then his 5th over the last 2 games.
Now, I got to believe that it's Webster Slaughter's fault, and I'm going to tell you why. Kosar is throwing to a spot, and that's where Everett or Slaughter should have been. He wasn't there.
As Halloween
Steelers get the ball 1st and 10 as we return to Cleveland Stadium. They've got it at the 27-yard line of the Browns. The pitch bobbled by Williams. Loose ball. Did he get it back? Yes. Warren Williams on his 2nd carry of the day fumbles it, but gets it back, fortunately for the Steelers, at the 31. Let's look back at that interception.
All right, you see Slaughter, he makes a move to the outside. Now, when he does that, Everett goes outside, and Bernie's throwing to the outside. He's not throwing the ball where Slaughter was going. So I got to believe that Slaughter runs the wrong pattern.
More scores, week number 6 in the NFL. Denver still hanging on to that 4-point lead, just like the Kansas City Chiefs. Phoenix with a safety and an early lead over Philadelphia. Loss of 4 makes it 2nd and 14. Back at the 31-yard line, and Lewis Lips goes in motion. Blackledge on the play action with flags down on the play. Wide open, it's Lips, and he overthrows his man at the goal line. Felix Wright and Thane Gash back there, but definitely beaten by Lewis Lips.
We had a false start. Number 65, offense before the play. It's still 2nd down.
That's John Jackson. Last week, he's in his 2nd season. So, had Lips brought it in, it would have all come back anyway. Loss of 5. Makes it now 2nd and 19. The ball back at the 36-yard line.
The Cleveland Browns defense, they are doing an awful lot of dealing up front with Harrison and Michael Dean Perry. Sometimes these two make the deal, the two tackles. And one thing about Cleveland, they're getting so much heat from their tackles, more so than any other team, I think, in the National Football League.
Second and 19. Three wide receivers. Split out for Todd Blackledge. Blitz is coming. Blackledge is hit. There's the fumble. The Steelers lose it. Do the Browns get it back? A battle at the 40-yard line for the ball. Tony Blaylock with a jarring hit. And Cleveland's got it.
You know, Joel, this is the area where the quarterback can't see. Now watch Blackledge. This is the backside. Blaylock had a shot at him. Clear. Touch. Ilkin had a chance of getting the ball, and he didn't come back with the ball. Cleveland gets the ball. But Blaylock, blitzing from the outside, there's just no way at all, and no one even touched him, that Todd Blackledge could see him from the backside.
So Michael Dean Perry with the fumble recovery. Blaylock, though, created that fumble, and the Browns get it back outside of their own 40-yard line.
Would you call this a gut check?
Hanford Dixon told us yesterday. Dixon said that if you don't come out of a Steelers-Browns game a little bit sore, something's wrong.
They're looking to see if Blackledge was throwing, but he wasn't. Watch to the left of the screen. He never sees Blaylock right there. The ball is coming back.
First down.
It is Cleveland's ball, first down. Just no question about the play. Just super timing by the defensive back, and no chance for Blackledge.
Metcalf from Manoa in the backfield. It'll be Eric Metcalf, who's already fumbled once today. Takes it out to the 44-yard line for a gain of close to 4. Tripped up by Gerald Williams. And Brian Henkel. Henkel already with a fumble recovery today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Looking ahead to next week. And our NFL coverage continues in week number 7. It'll all start with Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson. NFL Live at 12:30 Eastern. And you'll be watching the Steelers battle Warren Moon and the Houston Oilers. Others will see the Colts take on the Bengals or the LA Raiders. Bo Jackson matching up with the Eagles. That's next Sunday on NBC. Check your local listings. Kozar, the misdirection to Metcalf on 2nd and 6. Metcalf breaking the initial tackle. Gets out to the 48-yard line for 4 more. Tim Johnson tripping up the running back. What a week it was for Tim Johnson. He was one of the real defensive stars last Sunday in that loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers really growing as a unit, according to Tim Johnson. He says they're just playing together a lot better.
And they're playing with the same people, and that's the key to the defense. This is a young Steeler defensive football team, but the nice part about it is this defense is staying intact. Let's get you up to date, though. One thing, Rod Woodson, separated shoulder, was it? He's out.
You got it.
He's out. And that hurts him defensively.
Big blow. Third, a short 3, and Kozar looking downfield deep. He's got Webster Slaughter wide open inside the 15, but they say he was out of bounds. He had beaten Delton Hall, but he didn't get both feet in.
This is what happens when you start drifting. And you take a look at Slaughter. Slaughter has to look at the ball. It's up to Bernie to keep the ball in the playing field. A little hitch and go. Hall is out of the picture now. Now it's Slaughter in the ball. But look at how he has to drift. He gets one foot in and doesn't get the right foot in. That's mental error. He had the first foot in. Should have been able to realize where he was at that point in time and get the other foot in. That's his fault. That's not your fault, Bernie.
Lack of concentration, I think you'd have to call it.
Again.
Punting situation for Brian Wagner. He's got a 42-yard average so far, with Derek Hill waiting. Back for the Steelers. Very returnable one for Hill. At the 16, he takes it past the 20 to the 24-yard line. One more look at Webster Slaughter. You'll see the first one inbounds, but then he just loses that mental concentration. It's an incompletion. When we come back, the Steelers have it back. Frank Minifield, the outstanding cornerback for the Cleveland Browns, has been bothered by a groin injury. He has aggravated that once again and is not expected to return as we welcome you back to Cleveland Stadium. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Steelers still with a 3-point lead, and they've got it 1st and 10 at their own 24-yard line. Ray Wallace is the motion man. Warren Williams on the carry. Huge haul for Warren Williams, and a first down for the Steelers across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Dane Gash with a stop in the secondary.
This is a little quick opener, a little quick trap right up the middle of the field. And take a look. You got Perry, the Baker are there. Now, Perry just steps around. Once he steps around the center, Damani Dawson, the hole is there. He didn't take him straight up.
Gain of 12 on the carry. They call Williams number once again on the sweep play. He gets 4 up to the 40-yard line on 1st and 10. Al Baker wrapping up the running back. Bobby Humphrey with a touchdown run to give the Broncos the lead over the Indianapolis Colts. Okoye with a touchdown for the Chiefs. It's all tied between Seattle and San Diego. They tackled Tony in the end zone. That's why Phoenix has a safety today. 2 field goals by Morton Anderson have the Saints on top of the Jets in the second. It's now second and a short 7. Ball just across the 40-yard line. Play action for Blackledge. Looking for Ouija Thompson with his first catch of the day. They've got another first down inside the 45. In Cleveland territory, Harper, the cornerback in there. They went to work on Harper immediately. He's in there for Minifield.
Blackledge likes that. He said, I'll take Ouija out there. Now, here's a guy that gives me some height, 6'6", and a big target. And they go right to work on that man right there, Mark Harper, and they pick up the first down.
A reminder, we will be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the contest. 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Steelers at the 45 of the Browns. Blackledge is now 3 of 8. Total of 65 yards passing. He wants to go up top once again. Pressure comes over the middle. Almost intercepted by Mike Johnson. He took it away and knocked it away from Warren Williams.
Joel, Michael Dean Perry, you better put 2 people on him because he's going to kill your quarterback eventually. He is blocked. He goes down on the ground and still has enough presence of mind to reach up and grab Blackledge. And then it was almost intercepted by Mike Johnson. That man right there is the man that's creating the havoc. We'll take him out.
Not enough time for Todd Blackledge to set up in the pocket. Wallace and Williams in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Lips is the motion man. Williams on the carry. Flag on the play. And Mike Johnson with a big hit on the running back.
I'm laughing. I watched Raystra, number 79, the left guard. Raystra never moved. The ball was snapped, the play was running, and he was just standing there. Now, he didn't get the snap count. And I know it's not really that loud down there.
Holding, number 60, offense, still 2nd down.
That's Blankenship. But Raystra, number 79, I'm not kidding you, the ball was snapped, Joel, and he didn't move.
It's a 4 o'clock game. He couldn't have missed his wake-up call, Paul.
Now what? Left of the center. Watch him. See him sitting there? The ball is snapped, and finally he decides, all right, I'll get up and I'll block somebody.
10-yard mark-off on the penalty. It's now 2nd and 20 with the ball back at the Steelers' 45-yard line. Rodney Carter in the backfield. They love to swing those players out to Carter. His Lips goes in motion. Blackledge goes to Carter at the midfield stripe. Gets back to penalty yardage inside the 45 and a yard to boot to the 44-yard line. He's met by Tony Blaylock. Carter, one of the leading receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2nd most catches last week in that loss to the Bengals behind Lewis Lips, who had 8.
Isn't that amazing, Joel? And here's the guy, their leading receiver. They put him in the game. They know when they split him out, run the flat, they're going to throw the ball to him. Yet he runs out in the flat, picks up 10 to 12 yards, and nobody covered him.
6 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first half. Steelers up by 3. And facing a 3rd and 9. Ball to the 44 of the Browns. And now Blackledge wants to talk it over, even before he got up to the line of scrimmage. So Blackledge has called a timeout. That is the first timeout used by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first half. And if anybody was going to have happy feet today, you would think it would have been Todd Blackledge, but he's been hanging in the pocket pretty well.
I think, you know, there's really no place they're collapsing it on because they don't figure he's going to run. They really don't figure he's going to run with the football. So what they want to do is they want to keep him in the pocket. Just keep him right there and give the force from the outside. That's how they've sacked him.
At the half, we'll join Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson, NFL Live. Scores and highlights from all the other games around the NFL. Todd Blackledge doing a good job so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers, not making the mental mistakes that a lot of times you see from a quarterback making his first start of the season. Blackledge's father, Ron, the offensive line coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Blackledge now is 4 of 10 for 76 yards.
Now, one thing Hanford Dixon told us yesterday, what they were going to do is they were going to just fix up the coverage. They were going to show him man-to-man and end up back in zone and just try to change it as much as they possibly can, just to give him a different look, make him read it a little bit longer than he would have to. Then once he makes the audible change, now they get back out of that defense to get into a man-to-man or a zone, whichever one they were in before.
And the gentleman leading over, that was Todd's dad, Ron Blackledge. 3 wide receivers, now 4 wide receivers. In the pattern for Blackledge on 3rd and 9. Over the middle he goes, and it's intercepted by Thane Gash. Gash brought down by Blackledge at the 44-yard line. He wanted Dwight Stone, but overthrew him by a good margin.
Well, when you see the force on Blackledge, it's exactly what I was talking about, is keeping him into the pocket. Now watch where all the force comes, Joel. They keep him right in the middle. Now the ball just sails on him. He's trying to hit Stone. Gash is there. The ball was just overthrown by 4 or 5 yards. But Blackledge learned that tackling at Penn State. As soon as he sees the interception, here comes Blackledge. Look at this. He's not mad. They play some defense.
5 turnovers already today between these two teams, still with 6.5 minutes left in the first half.
It's a great defensive football game, but a lot of this is due to mental errors and people just making mistakes they shouldn't be making on both sides of the ball.
Cleveland starting 1st and 10 at their own 44 with Langhorne the motion man and Kozar going for the bundle, looking for Eric Metcalf, knocked away by Carnell Lake. Good timing defensively by Lake.
You know, this is where you get some help from your friends. You see Lake here just at the last second. That ball hits Metcalf right in the chest. Lake is there. He couldn't cover any better than that. Tried to get his arm in, and you can see Metcalf on the ground. He knew he should have had the ball and hit him right in the chest.
Well thrown pass by Bernie Kozar. 2nd and 10 now. The ball at the 44-yard line. And the speed runners in the backfield now. Mike Oliphant joining Tim Manoa. Oliphant gets it. Tim Johnson almost had him in the backfield. Instead, it's a big gainer for a first down for the Browns. Everett getting them in the secondary, but not before they move to the sticks. First down to the 43 of Pittsburgh.
You know, when you talk about a game of inches, you are absolutely right. Oliphant was almost tackled for a 3-yard loss in the backfield. He turns around and picks up 14 yards on the carry. It's amazing.
Jim Johnson, who was so incredibly quick up front, 3rd-year man from Penn State for the Steelers, almost had him for that loss. Metcalf and Manoa in the eye. 1st and 10, down to the Steelers' 43. And Kozar is changing the play at the line. In trouble, Kozar goes for Langhorne. Batted away by Woodruff. That's your basic ad-lib.
It was an ad-lib. You know, and Tim Johnson, the guy you were talking about before, that missed Oliphant, is going to put some heat on Kozar. Kozar's looking out here right away for Metcalf. Can't find him. That's Tim Johnson putting Kozar on the ground. But it was a great ad-lib because he did get the ball downfield to Langhorne. I don't know if that one went out of bounds, too.
Johnson applying that pressure consistently for the Steelers. Kozar, though, only 5 of 12 in the first half. Total of 26 yards and 2 interceptions. Brian Brennan going in motion. Kozar finds Brennan. He's after the first down marker, but he'll come up short by about 3 yards going out of the 36-yard line in the arms of Dwayne Woodruff.
Nothing changes. It's amazing how 4 o'clock games, they don't change. 1 o'clock games do. 4 o'clock, see, they don't change. All those scores are still the same.
I didn't know Phoenix had a baseball team.
I didn't either.
Phoenix got a safety. They dumped Anthony Tony in the end zone for that 2 points. 3rd and 2. Those are the Browns. Oliphant again, looking for the blocking out front. He'll turn it on, but will it come up short? He's put down near the first down marker, close to the 33-yard line by Greg Lloyd, the outside linebacker, Fort Valley State.
If he got the first down, it was due to Manoa. Manoa and Banker, 68 and 42. Manoa got an excellent block.
Well, Paul, there's been a lot of trade rumors surrounding the Cleveland Browns over the last couple of weeks, and the Browns told us today there is no truth to the rumor that a deal for Marcus Allen fell through when he was injured on Monday night, when in fact there was no deal for the Raiders running back at all. And when we asked, and I talked to Ernie Accorsi, the Browns GM, just a few minutes before kickoff, he said, nothing cooking right now. Trading deadline is Tuesday at 4 o'clock. There have also been rumors that the Browns are talking to the Oilers about a possible deal involving Mike Rozier.
Well, by Tuesday, I think they might make a deal. I don't know what you're going to get. All right, here it comes. 42 is Manoa. Watch this on the outside on Little, number 50. There is the excellent block. Banker, number 68, is out front. And if there is a first down, those two guys help.
74, tight end, Cleveland. 74, else.
Okay, that's Paul Farron. The extra tight end in there now for the Cleveland Browns. 3 tight ends, Farron, Newsom, and Derek Tunnell. Redden and Manoa in the backfield on 4th and inches. Ball near the 33. It'll be Manoa's number, and Manoa's got the first down near the 30-yard line, but he fumbles it. Loose ball. Steelers get it. Cornell Lake's got it. Was the running back down, though?
Oh, he
was the whistle
down.
blown? Was the whistle blown, though?
I'll tell you what the people are booing is Manoa. Is his forward progress stopped? That is the question. Here comes Manoa. Look at that. He's going up behind Redden, 35. Now, here it is. Is his forward progress stopped right here?
No.
No, the ball came out. He was hit. They're going to leave this alone. This is a fumble. Lake gets the ball. He couldn't get his footing to get back up. They're not. You don't have to review that. That's fumble.
And the Steelers pick up the 4th turnover of the afternoon by the Cleveland Browns.
We're not only seeing a hard-hitting defensive football game that we knew we were going to see when we came in, but we're also seeing some sloppy play by both of these teams. Lack of concentration, Joel.
Steelers get it back. 1st and 10 to their own 26-yard line. Blackledge looking to go deep. He wants Weegee Thompson, who was held up. He was running up the back of Felix Wright as well. That's why the Browns fans wanted a flag. Oh, wait a minute. But earlier, he was tangled up with Mark Harper, the cornerback who's in there for Frank Minifield.
I was waiting for you because there's actually holding here by Cleveland first. This is at the end of it. Now, he just runs up the back. That's not a problem. Don't boo that. It was earlier when Harper grabbed him. Weegee Thompson, you were right. It should have been holding on Cleveland about the 45-yard line.
So 3-0 Steeler lead with 4 minutes and 36 seconds left in the first half. 2nd and 10. The ball at the 26 of the Steelers. Wallace and Williams, the tandem in the backfield. Wallace is the motion man. Williams wrapped up in the line. He loses a yard to the 25. Michael Dean Perry torpedoing that play along with Carl Hairston.
You ran in the wrong spot, boys. Because Hairston and Perry were just, that's the hole they were coming in. Take a look right in the middle of your screen. They try to trap. Here comes Perry. He gets on the top. Hairston is down on the bottom, and there's no place to go, folks.
Four wide receivers with trips to one side for Todd Blackledge on 3rd and 11. Back at their own 25-yard line. And there's 4 minutes left in the first half. Pressure coming. It's Michael Dean Perry. Blackledge throws it away. And Blackledge really took a shot from Perry. And he was totally exposed.
Along with Clay Matthews back there. Weegee Thompson just pulled up on the route, and Blackledge, I think, just unloaded the ball. So he wouldn't have to take another sack.
They can't afford to lose Blackledge. Their backup quarterback for the Steelers today is Rick Strom. And his Gerald McNeil waiting for the punt from Harry Newsom.
Now, what you're seeing so far is not Blackledge's fault. You can't throw the ball if you don't have time to throw it.
Coming into the game, the Steelers had given up a league-leading 26 sacks. Newsom, with no pressure, sends out a beauty. Gets it to turn over. McNeil back at his own 23. Gets a block to the sideline. Across the 30. Good field position once again for the Browns. So they'll start their next drive at the 33-yard line. Next Sunday, don't forget to join NBC Sports for great football 30. Next Sunday on NBC.
We get there next week. Bo will be in full swing. He'll have the offense down pat. Just learning it this week for us.
First and 10. Browns have it at their own 33. Metcalf darting for very little to the 35.
Speaking of Little, David Little makes the play.
Browns may lead the league in nicknames. You got Al Baker. He's been called Bubba for a long time. Big Daddy is appropriate for Carl Hairston. The Cube for Gerald McNeil. Gator Arms for Michael Dean. Tonga Tank, I believe it, for Manoa. Foghorn Langhorn. And then you've got the guys in the secondary, where the dogs reside in the secondary. That's Frank Minifield is Mighty Minnie, and top dog is Hanford Dixon. And the young puppy is Tony Blaylock. Second and 8 from their own 35. Kozar with time finds Ozzie Newsom for a first down. Inside Pittsburgh Steeler territory to the 48-yard line.
Joe, I don't know if anyone ever in the history... Ozzie looks like he's hurt, but can throw the ball as well sidearm as Bernie Kosar can and go right between defensive linemen. Ozzie's coming off. He seems to be all right. Kosar just hit him with a sidearm pass, and that thing went about 16 yards like a rocket.
And it doesn't make any difference to Bernie how he throws the ball. He goes at all different angles.
Oh, yeah, as long as he gets there.
Doesn't have to be pretty, as long as it's complete. First and 10 for the Browns. The 48-yard line of the Steelers. Oliphant out of the backfield. Kozar with pressure. Finds Webster Slaughter. He's held by the face mask, I believe, as he dives near the first down marker. Greg Lloyd, I think, got the face mask though.
You know what really sets this play up? You're going to see Slaughter, but Oliphant, number 33, see him coming out. He's the guy that really freezes everyone. When he comes out with that much speed, now there's the face mask right there by Lloyd.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That wasn't blatant. See, that was
2-minute warning, 2-minute notification.
That's an accident.
2-minute notification. There's 1:58 remaining.
The offensive problems continue for the Cleveland Browns as we have reached the 2-minute warning.
How fast he is and what he does to a defense. Watch now. He's going to come out and hold it right here. Now 35 is Hall in his face and Lloyd 95. Watch him look at him and they leave Slaughter alone. He goes by. Slaughter comes open right here. Pass is completed.
First and 10. After that face mask call against Lloyd. First and 10 at the 34. Play action. Kozar's got problems throwing the screen and throwing it away wisely as they set up the wide receiver screen to Gerald McNeil. Tim Johnson again, though, in the face of Bernie Kosar. Scores in the 6th week of the NFL season. Bo Jackson with a touchdown run to give the Raiders the halftime lead over the Kansas City Chiefs. Everything's still the same in Denver and San Diego. Phoenix got a field goal. They lead by 5. I'm Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. The Steelers clinging to a 3-point lead by way of a 49-yard field goal. Gary Anderson early in the first quarter. Kozar, the Browns looking to the 2nd and 10. The 34 of Pittsburgh. Kozar audibilizing, changing the play at the line of scrimmage on the long count. A little more time, fires it for the wideout. Is it taken in with flags down to the play? Yes, it's complete. Wayne Woodruff almost got it away from Reggie Langhorn. But there are flags down.
All right, Woodruff on Langhorn. This is just man-to-man coverage, and here's this ball. Bernie a little bit late, but watch Langhorn fight it away from Woodruff. That's good hustle by the offense. But it's going to come back because they're on the other side of the 50, Joel. And I think we have a holding penalty on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which will bring the ball back to about the 45.
So that's why Bernie had so much time for one of the few times today.
Number 42, offense.
They called it on Tim Manoa, the running back. penalties are identical so far today. 3 against each team for a total of 20 yards.
Here they are on the other side of 50 again, Joel. They don't like it over here.
They really do have their problems once they get inside enemy territory. Bernie Kosar told us yesterday, once they get inside the 35-30 of the opposition, penalty flags or simple mental mistakes always seem to crop up. Now 2nd and 20. The ball back at the 44-yard line. Kosar with time. Going for Metcalf. Double coverage. Batted away by Delton Hall. Now let's look at the finals from earlier today around the National Football League. Houston shocked Chicago at Soldier Field. Miami helping out both the Browns and the Steelers. The Redskins losing by a field goal at the Meadowlands. Atlanta hangs on for a 1-point victory while San Francisco pulls away in the 4th quarter to beat Dallas. Detroit gets their first win for Wayne Fontes, their head coach. And Green Bay losing in Herschel Walker's debut for the Vikings. Ron Costas, O.J. Simpson with all the scores and highlights at halftime.
Tampa Bay, they score 42 on Chicago, and they can't beat Detroit. Every week, different winner.
3rd and 20 for Kosar. Pressure again. Goes for Lawyer Tillman, who drops it at the 30. He wanted to run with it before he ever had it.
Or did he hear some footsteps? A little pitter-patters coming. Woodruff was there. That ball was just hanging there. And Lawyer Tillman's coming across the middle. Bernie just threw it. I mean, he was open. Should have had the ball. Wouldn't have had the first down, but they might have been able to kick a field goal.
And Bernie's doing a good job to get rid of it off balance.
Both these defensive lines are really putting the heat on the quarterbacks today.
Derek Hill returning the punts. If you've just joined us, Rod Woodson left the game very early with a separated shoulder. So the rookie from Arizona will wait for the punt from Brian Wagner. Wagner hangs up a high spiral. On up on down there. They get the bounce, but not the one they wanted as it went just across the goal line. Wagner almost got it to turn back in his direction. But instead, it'll be 1st and 10 at the 20 for Pittsburgh as another altercation almost breaks out. There was quite a brawl at the end of the first game between them. $14,500 between the two.
Did you love Bernie? We talked to Bernie yesterday. He said, well, actually, it was a change of possession. So Bernie was going on the field. So they find everybody was on the field in a fight. He got fined. He says, boy, everybody thinks I was in a fight. He said, look, I'm paying the fine, even though I wasn't involved.
With a smile on his face.
Oh, yeah, he loved it.
1st and 10 at the 20 for Pittsburgh. Wallace, Carter in the backfield. Blackledge just barely gets rid of it. Looked like they wanted to set up a screen that never developed for Ray Wallace. Carl Hairston applying the pressure on the quarterback.
Well, you know, when you set up a screen, like Bernie was trying to run a screen a little while ago, and Tim Johnson was in his face. And when a quarterback turns around to throw, and all you see is the other guy's jersey in your face, there's not much you can do about it. That time, Blackledge just dropped straight back. They were going to throw a screen pass to Wallace to the outside because they had the blockers out in front. The only problem was you forgot to block Hairston.
Blackledge now only 4 of 14 for 76 yards with 1 interception. Facing his 2nd and 10 in his own 20-yard line. Blackledge doing a good job just to get rid of it again. It's incomplete.
Stephen Bragg just dove at his face. I mean, he's on a blitz. He's a cornerback, but he's coming in. He's in the dime package. Hairston's going up. He gets double teamed. And number 36, Stephen Bragg. Watch what happens to Blackledge. There's Hairston. Watch this. Over the top. Look at this. Bragg. He just dove into his face. Got to get some help up there. You got to at least slow the guys down.
Bragg's using Big Daddy Harrison as a stepladder. 5 straight incompletions for Blackledge on 3rd and 10. He's still at his own 20 with a leg to Ray Wallace. Breaks the initial tackle, but barely gets back to the original line. Clay Matthews, the linebacker, making the stop.
Michael T. Perry had him in the backfield, Joel. He just didn't think that Blackledge handed Wallace the ball. He just ran right by him. He grabbed him and then let him go. Cleveland takes a timeout. They have 1 minute and 2 seconds to go here.
You've You just joined us. Cleveland's been their own worst enemy. They have given the ball away 4 times already today. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. And the defense, they've got to be talking to themselves by now because this defensive unit leads the NFL in the fewest points allowed. They've only given up 71 points over the first 5 games this year.
Well, they've only given up 3 so far in this game, and it's amazing to watch these two teams. They get something going, and all of a sudden the defense decides they're going to take over in the ball game. We're seeing just 2 super defenses play today, along with some mental errors that are happening with both of these teams. I mean, Cleveland's got to be talking to themselves. They've been doing this for weeks now, and you know, when you talk to them, they just don't know what it is that they're doing. I mean, you know, it's not the same guy all the time.
Gerald McNeil waiting for the punt from Harry Newsom, who's got a 41-yard average so far after 3 tries so far today. 62 seconds left in the first half.
Now what happened?
Did they take too much time?
Great kick. Delay a game.
Play the game.
Why not?
Offense.
I mean, I don't understand that situation because the clock wasn't running anyway, so you can't run any time off the clock. The problem was to get everybody lined up. What happens is when you see a punt team like this, Joel, and they're standing there, and you see Cleveland come up the line of scrimmage, these guys, they point out. They'll tell the guy who's going to block who. I'm taking this guy. I'm taking 50. You take this guy. I'll take that guy. I mean, there's no secrets about who you're going to block.
5-yard mark off against the Steelers. Newsom gets out another beauty. Not quite as long, though. McNeil with flags down to the play. Gets it. Reversing his field. Giving up ground. Flags down. Face mask coming up, I believe, against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, but you may have a holding against the Cleveland Browns way downfield about the 15-yard line.
Will we do it a 3rd time?
Yeah, we'll do it because that'll... I think it was Van Waiters, number 50.
Just before the punt, the Cleveland Browns used their 2nd time out of the first half. So when they get the ball back, eventually, they will get the ball back. They only have 1 timeout remaining. And at the half, we'll be going to NFL Live with Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson for all the scores and highlights from other games.
Well, there's 2 penalties. There's a holding penalty on the Browns, and there's a face mask against the Steelers. Now, the holding penalty on the Browns, that's after the ball is kicked away. So that's an offensive foul and a defensive foul. Offsetting fouls will make the foul stay right where the foul was before.
Boy, you really sorted it out for all of us.
I have no idea what they're going to do now. Here they come. Bring it
We had
down.
a double foul after change of possession. The Browns ball at this spot, 1st and 10.
See that?
And Pat really clarified things, too. Pat Haggerty, our referee.
Well, I gave it to you before he did. I said it stays right there. Here's the face mask here now. And that's on Stone, number 20. The other one was a holding penalty on number 50, Waiters.
I'll call you Abbott. I'll call him Costello.
That's right.
1st and 10 for the Browns at their own 38-yard line. Kosar out of the shotgun. Pressure comes, rifles it for McNeil. It's incomplete at the midfield stripe. Pressure again, though, on Bernie Kosar.
Well, there were a whole lot of places I'd have thrown that ball, but not there that time. There were 4 Steelers standing right there.
Raiders trying to win today, and Bo Jackson's returned to the lineup. It's halftime in Phoenix. Boy, is it ever hot down in the Arizona desert now as Kosar is looking to pass on 2nd and 10. Throws it behind Slaughter. Picked off by Delton Hall. 3rd interception of the first half for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They get it back at the Browns 45.
Well, here we go. Mistakes again. This time, Slaughter is not his fault. I mean, this ball was thrown behind him. He was coming across the middle, and the ball goes off his arm. He really didn't think he had a chance of catching it. We can't see the ball going off. We see Hall with the ball. We don't see the ball going off of Slaughter's arm. The ball was thrown behind him.
Steelers still have 2 timeouts left. Kosar picked off 5 times now over the last 2 games. And he had gone, when we were here 2 weeks ago, 181 straight attempts without an interception before he was picked off by the Denver Broncos. First and 10. Blackledge for Carter. Carter. Good grab by Carter. One-handed at the 40-yard line. Another look at the interception by Delton Hall.
All right, now Slaughter is 84. Now watch when he goes across. Look where this ball is thrown at him. He's trying to come back behind. They're better off letting the ball go away because he tips the ball up into Hall's hands, and they get the ball at the 45. Now, Pittsburgh just took a timeout. With Carter catching the ball that time, where that ball was thrown on a 4-yard gain, you might think about leaving it go because, of course, you're going to take a timeout. You're really not gaining that much yardage on it.
Slaughter is sliding down on his own, though, and he's going down, Paul, with a defensive back not within 5 to 6 yards at the time.
Yeah, I know, and he was going across. Whether he slipped or not, it's hard to tell, but he was going down, and the ball was thrown down low. They need to get a first down in order to be able to try and get a field goal.
Chuck Noll becoming the 5th coach in NFL history to coach in 300 games. Joining George Hallis, the all-time leader with 498 games. Also Tom Landry, Curly Lambeau, and Don Shula. One timeout left for the Steelers. 21 seconds left in the first half. And 2nd and 5 at the 40-yard line. 3 wide receivers in the pattern. Blackledge on the timing play going for Derek Hill. Throws it out of bounds. Good coverage by Mark Harper. The replacement today for Frank Minifield, who left the game in the first quarter, aggravating a groin injury.
And that time, the Cleveland Browns, they're sending along with the 4 down linemen, they were sending 2 linebackers, Matthews and number 59, Johnson. They just don't want Blackledge to set up. They're just going to send some people after him. That play took 6 seconds.
Bernie Kosar with those 3 interceptions. That ties his worst day so far in that department. 2 other times he's been picked off 3 times. But more importantly now for the Steelers. 3rd and 5 at the 40. Blackledge with time. Going downfield is receiver broke off the pattern. Rodney Carter. Breakdown in communication there.
Carter breaks. He runs into play lock, and when you see a quarterback throw the ball that far off target, you just got to believe that the receiver ran the wrong route.
It's the 4th time today, Paul, that the Pittsburgh Steelers have started with it in Cleveland Brown territory. Still, they only lead 3-0.
And they're going for it 4th and 5. Ball on the 40. They'd like to do. They have a timeout left. Is just pick up the first down. Don't worry about getting to the end zone so they can get in field goal range, especially when you have Gary Anderson kicking.
They just need about 5, 6, 7 more yards for Anderson range. Matthews applying the pressure. Blackledge out of the shotgun. Throwing into a crowd, and he gets it. Down to Derek Hill. They've got to call a timeout, and they do with 1 second left in the first half. There is a flag down, though, and it's holding against Pittsburgh.
The half is over.
And the half is over. I see a second on the clock. I'm sorry. Official time is kept on the field. Is that correct?
Yes.
Pat Haggerty said the half is over. So you can't end the half on a defensive penalty, but you can end it on an offensive penalty. Do you know that? I know. There's the official time up there. But Mr. Haggerty said the half is over.
He may come back and talk to us again.
Well, there would be no reason to mark it off if the half still is in play. What?
Holding number 43. 1 second left.
Oh, okay, Pat. Just going to give him another second. I know the clock says 1 second.
Could he go back to those offsetting penalties?
Yeah, I wish it was. He could write a book about today.
Now we'll look for the tip drill. With only 1 second left in the half. They split out the tight end Malarkey, so they have trips to the far side of the field.
Cleveland gashing those guys. They'll just head for the goal line.
Blackledge going down the middle. That is incomplete. They close out the first half of play. Cleveland's error-filled first half, to say the least. And You don't often see the Browns booed by their fans. Sellout crowd in Cleveland.
A lot of mistakes, Joel. It's something we talked about before. We'll talk about it in the second half.
Paul, 7 turnovers between the two teams, 5 committed by the Cleveland Browns.
I just have to believe that in a couple of the interceptions that Bernie threw, that the receivers ran the wrong way. I'm not taking the blame off him. I mean, he probably shouldn't have thrown the ball. This guy's having a horrible day. And we talked to Bernie yesterday, and the one thing he's talking about is, look, his 8 completions out of 20. I mean, he said, we're making mistakes and we don't even know what we're doing wrong. I mean, that's the sad part. If we could point a finger somewhere and say, okay, it's all my fault or it's all your fault, that would be easy. He said, we can't figure out what we're doing wrong. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing great.
Only 11 first downs between the two teams in the first 30 minutes of play. And, Paul, often you hear that line, the stats don't tell the whole story.
Well,
do they ever in this game?
They really do. And you can talk about, the turnovers, 5 and 2, 5 for Cleveland. And Cleveland ought to be happy that they're this close in this ball game, Joel. I mean, you'd think that they'd be blown out if you take a look at some of the stats on here. And here's Cleveland, but they've got them by 3 yards total offense, so...
Well, Bernie Kosar with only 68 yards of passing through the first half of play. And coming into the game, you would anticipate possibly, because Todd Blackledge is getting his first start of the season, only his 4th over the last 2 years, that offensively the Steelers could be a little bit out of sync. But the mystery remains for the Cleveland Browns why they can't move with weapons like Slaughter, like Metcalf, and Bernie Kosar at quarterback. Steelers will get it to start the second half. As Wagner kicks off, not Matt Barr. And it's in and out of the end zone for a touchback. Steelers will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Steelers didn't make the most of their opportunities either, though, because they started with the ball 4 times in Cleveland territory in the first half and still only came away with 3 points, and those 3 points came on their first possession of the day.
Well, we're looking at stats right there of Blackledge, and we saw Bernie Kosar's stats. They weren't very good, and here's 5 out of 19. They're not very good. You give credit to the defensive line and the secondary of the defense. The defenses in these games are playing very good football. Offensively, though, even though they're playing good football, offensively they're making mental errors, stupid mistakes.
Merrill Hodge slamming it up across the 25 to the 26. We have received word that Lewis Lips, on the last play of the first half, suffered an injury, a hamstring injury, and it's doubtful whether he'll be back today. That is another big blow. The Pittsburgh Steelers lost Rod Woodson in the first half because of a separated shoulder. They're hoping, though, that Lewis Lips can return. Good run on first down by Hodge. That's the way they looked against the Bengals on first down last week, picking up 7.
That is what the Pittsburgh Steelers have to do. They have to control the line of scrimmage and run the football.
Steelers had 174 yards on the ground last week against that big defensive front of Cincinnati. Now it's Warren Williams for a first down, carrying tacklers across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Finally dragged down by Clay Matthews.
Now watch what Michael Dean Perry does here. Take a look at him. He's going right down the line of scrimmage. So when he does that, Blankenship number 60 said, okay, if that's where you want to go, I'm going to let you go down there. And then they run the ball back to the inside with Williams, or back to the outside with Williams, and pick up the first down. Actually, Perry takes himself out of the play, but that's his stunt.
Steelers start the second half with Tom Ricketts at the left tackle position, the rookie from Pittsburgh. Ouija Thompson in motion. They go with Thompson now, and Derek Hill is the wide receiver. 1st and 10. Blackledge goes to Williams out of the backfield. Nice touch pass by Todd Blackledge to the 41-yard line. David Grayson running him out of bounds. David Grayson.
Al Baba Baker, number 60, is complaining that he's being held. You can see him walking back very slowly to the huddle. He said Malarkey, number 84, the tight end, is holding him. Looks like the official is listening.
2nd and short, 2nd and 2. After the completion to Williams. Ball at the 41-yard line of Pittsburgh. Hodge and Williams stay in the backfield. Double tight end set. Williams racked up at the line. A major league hit applied by Big Daddy Carl Harrison and Clay Matthews.
I'm telling you, he went in there, and Big Daddy, take a look at 78 and 57. Watch what happens right at the end of this play. Here it comes, and there they go. Matthews, 57, just stuck him, and I'm talking about no gain at all.
Now 3rd and 2. Close to 3. Also at the 41-yard line. Neither of these two teams has been very successful in third down conversions all year long. And it continues today. Luigi Thompson, the motion man. The misdirection goes to Warren Williams, and he won't get the first down. That Steeler defense that does so well in stopping the run. Carl Hairston, the first one there, wrapping up the running back, and they're short of the first down by a couple of yards.
And Michael Dean Perry in there again. It's the center of this line is so active. Now watch it, 78 and 92 in the brown jersey. Perry first, Hairston second.
Brown defense comes in this week second best overall in the National Football League, the 7th best against the running attack. Big Daddy. That's at least what Hanford Dixon thinks. It'll be the first player to earn an NFL check, a Pro Bowl check, and a Social Security check in the same season. Newsom with the high punt, a beauty. McNeil takes it to the 10, gets some blocks. Up the middle he goes. Past the 30. To the 40-yard line. A brilliant return by Gerald McNeil in great field position for the first drive of the second half of the Cleveland Browns. David Johnson on the stop on the special teams. Steelers still up by 3, though, with better than 11 minutes left in the Metcalf. Gets it on the sweep and gets the block to the outside with flags on the play into Steelers territory for a gain of close to 15 to the 45-yard line.
You're going to have some holding, and I think it's on Ozzie Newsome, number 82. And he might have been holding Tim Johnson, number 78. Here we go again. Excellent field position. And look
Holding, number 82, offense, still first down.
Ozzie.
Oops. More scores from around the NFL. The Raiders increase their lead over the Chiefs to a 6-point advantage. Seattle now with a 7-point lead over the San Diego Chargers, and the Eagles finally get to the board, leading in the third quarter at Phoenix.
Bottom of the third, 7-5.
Kozar looking at a passing situation. He's only 3 of his last 12. He's thrown 2 of his 3 interceptions over those last 12 passes. First and 20. He's finally got some time, and it's off the fingertips of Brennan. Is it intercepted? They say no. Greg Lloyd almost got it. This may go upstairs, Paul.
I think it will go upstairs because Lloyd thinks he really had it. Greg Lloyd was there. Here's Bernie trying to force it again on a pass that would have been about maybe 6 yards. All right, just take a look at Bernie. First of all, Johnson and company are there. I mean, they're forcing Bernie to the outside. There's little number 50. But watch this ball. Now, here's Lloyd. Does it hit the ground? There? Yes. It's on the ground. It's on the ground.
But they'll still go upstairs.
Yeah, go upstairs, but it's on the ground. Great hustle, though. But another forced pass by Kozar.
And he had ample time for one of the few occasions today.
Here it is. Off
by the
hand.
first look.
And here's another look at it. Now, you see the ball touching the ground right there. The ball hits the ground.
The play stands as ruled. Second down.
That last holding call against the Cleveland Browns, their 4th penalty today. That makes it 22 penalties for the Browns over the last 2.5 games. We're just underway at the start of the second half at Cleveland Stadium. Kozar on the deep drop on 2nd and 20. His receiver fell down. It's incomplete. He wanted Webster Slaughter. Delton Hall right on top of the situation. And they wanted a flag on Hall.
Well, first of all, Bernie did the right thing by throwing the ball away. He saw Slaughter go down. He had no place to go with the ball. That wasn't close to being an interception. He just threw the ball away. That's heads up.
Browns have taken 7 straight in their series with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sweeps in 86, 87, 88. They're trying to make it a clean sweep in 89 after winning the first game 51-0. Now 3rd and 20. The ball close to the 31. Kozar in trouble, throws it away. Barry Redden was pulled down by Hardy Nickerson. That's why they're looking for another flag, but the ball had already touched the ground.
Hardy Nickerson, you talk about, he red screened the entire way, number 54, and just tackled Barry Redden. This is super defense. 54 to left side of your screen. Now watch this. He's got a controlled blitz, and he sees Barry Redden right there. Watch here. They're throwing the ball. He's tackling him. The ball was in the air. That's behind the line of scrimmage. That's super defense.
8 straight incompletions now for Bernie Kosar, who came in today hitting 62% of his passes over the first 5 weeks. Wagner, funny though, low wobbler to Derek Hill. Hill gets a good block. Past the 40, nice move by Hill before he slides down, losing his footing. Near the 45-yard line, a 36-yard punt, a 12-yard return, and the Steelers get it back. Still leading by 3. Pittsburgh Steelers have had good success today throwing the ball on first down to help take that pressure off Todd Blackledge. The same cannot be said, though, for the Cleveland Browns and Bernie Kosar. Steelers get it after the good return by Derek Hill. First and 10 at their own 45. Exceptional field position to start their second drive of the second half. Play action for Blackledge throwing on first down. Wide open, Ouija Thompson's got it. Thompson is out of bounds, though, inside the 30. At the 28-yard line, almost like we saw earlier with Webster Slaughter.
Well, Ouija, this guy has presence of mind to know where he is. Most important thing is to catch the ball inbounds. Now here comes Blackledge, play action pass. You said they had success on first down. Here's another first down play. Just take a look at it. Gash never gets over there. The first thing Ouija wants to make sure of is that I get 2 feet inbounds, but he steps out of bounds, but he'd already had possession of the ball. And that's the most important thing.
Gain of 27 yards on the completion, down to the 27 of Cleveland. Merrill Hodge gets it. Pulls his way up the middle. As David Grayson gets to the running back. Takes it down to the 23-yard line, though, for a gain of 4. Join us next Sunday. Week number 7 of the NFL season. We'll all start with Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson. NFL Live at 12:30. Paul and I will be at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia for the Raiders and the Eagles. Second game of the doubleheader, 49ers and the Patriots. That's next Sunday on NBC.
Bo Jackson's got a touchdown so far today.
And the Raiders have an early lead in the third quarter over the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Dogs are rustling.
Second and 6. Ball to the 23-yard line, and Blackledge is changing the play. This has got to be difficult with the noise coming down from Cleveland Stadium. Pump fake. Going deep, and Ouija Thompson held up. Flags down on the play around the 13-yard line. That pump fake probably paid off.
Well, they got, I don't know, was Mike Johnson number 59 or not holding, or 23 Mark Harper?
Defensive pass interference, number 22, first down.
Felix Wright. They had 3 guys there, and that little pump that Ouija makes a stop, and as he turns to go upfield, Felix Wright grabbed him. Everybody was there. All the people were there. Take a look. It'll be on the right-hand side of your screen, Joel. And that pump is there. Grayson is almost there. But here is the bump.
And they had 3 defenders on 1 receiver.
They had 3 defenders on 1 receiver. And what Felix Wright is talking about is that ball wasn't catchable. That didn't make any difference.
5th penalty of the day on the Cleveland Browns. Makes it first and 10 for the Steelers at the 14-yard line. Merrill Hodge is the only one in the backfield. They go with trips to the near side. Hodge belted to the backfield by Clay Matthews. Matthews has done it so well for so long. His 12th year out of USC. Updating those scores. Bo Jackson does have that touchdown ball and a 13-7 lead for the Raiders in the third quarter at the Coliseum. Seattle with a 7-point advantage over San Diego. And Philadelphia with their second touchdown of the day. 9-point lead over the Phoenix Cardinals. Steelers going up against the second-best defensive unit in the NFL. Facing the 2nd and 10. The 14-yard line of the Browns. Audibilizing again. It's quarterback Todd Blackledge. He puts Derek Hill in motion. And he's got time. Going out for Carter. He's there. Touchdown Steelers. They love to swing Rodney Carter out of the backfield.
And everybody knows it. Cleveland knew about it yesterday, but you got to give Blackledge a lot of credit because he just stayed in there. Hodge to the right of the screen His left gets an excellent block. But look at here. This pass downfield, that's Al Bubba Baker, the defensive end that's downfield covering on the play. I don't know. I hope that he wasn't the only man that was supposed to cover Carter.
Extra point is perfect by Gary Anderson. And there is finally a touchdown on the board. It belongs to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And coming in an underdog today, the Steelers lead it by 10.
NBC Sports is still on the line. Dial 1-900-226-8000 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's a beautiful autumn afternoon in Cleveland. Hasn't been a great day for Brown fans, though. Rodney Carter with the touchdown reception. Came in as the second leading receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Only one catch behind Lewis Lips in that category.
The oddsmakers had Pittsburgh a 10-point underdog, didn't they?
It's 10-0. Pittsburgh on top of Cleveland. Anderson with a low line drive wobbler. It'll be taken by the up man. That's Braggs across the 30. Up to the 32-yard line. Todd Blackledge looking so good on that last drive.
All right, Rodney Carter's coming out, and it's Bubba Baker, number 60, who is a defensive end that's covering him right here. Gash, number 30, is the closest safety man to him. Now, I just cannot believe that the defensive end is covering the back, their number one receiver on the team coming out of the backfield.
Blackledge 3 of 3 so far in the second half, while Bernie Kosar has missed his last 8 straight. They give to Metcalf. Metcalf between the two tackles for about 3 up to the 34-yard line. David Little in on the stop, the inside linebacker. Dynamite inside linebackers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Little in his 9th year from Florida, and Hardy Nickerson, 3rd-year man from the University of California.
They got Oliphant coming out here as a wide receiver.
Looks like he's got man-to-man with Carnell Lake. Must be. Other defensive back, the safety Everett comes over. Flags on the play. Dump off to Manoah. It's complete. And Manoah near the first down, diving ahead. Across the 45, he's got more than enough for the first down to the 46. They put a great block on David Little.
Did you see that? That was Oliphant.
Yes.
I mean, he picked out himself a linebacker and helps Manoah get the first down. But it may come back. Take a look at number 33 come back into your picture, and that'll be Oliphant. Here he comes right here. There's little 50, and watch that. Bang! Don't you like that? And then Manoah, he just runs over Lake.
Oliphant is 5'7", 170 pounds.
False start on the offense before the play started.
Who was it, Pat? Pat Haggerty, our referee.
It looked for a moment as if Pittsburgh was offside, but now they got a false start, so that play really wasn't going anywhere in the first place. All right, where's the false start? There's Pittsburgh moving. Do you see anybody?
Do you know, Tim Johnson told us yesterday.
Left guard, still second down.
The left guard. That'd be Banker, number 68.
Tim Johnson, the defensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers, told us yesterday Bernie Kosar bobs his head frequently and draws people offside and gets away with it all the time. They didn't call it that time, but I saw Bernie moving his head up and down. Second and long, Kosar going deep. He has Metcalf, and it's knocked away by Hall. Ball slightly underthrown as Metcalf has beaten the cornerback by a couple of yards.
Now, Metcalf runs by Hall, but this ball, as you said, is underthrown. Take a look. Here goes Metcalf. Now, watch. He just glides right by Hall. Hall takes off now. Here's from his teammate, and the ball is underthrown. Hall gets right up in the air and knocks the ball away. Excellent play by the defense.
9 straight incompletions now for Bernie Kosar. Extra wide receivers. Coming in for the Cleveland Browns, Gerald McNeil entering the game along with Brian Brennan. And they have trips to the far side, the short side of the field. Slaughter, the only one to the near side. 3rd and 13. The ball back at the 29. Dead ball penalty coming up.
Delay a game. Too much time.
Delay a game.
Yeah.
Offense.
I mean, what else can happen?
And the Cleveland Browns call this week in practice 2 straight days had officials on the practice field to try to help them get over all the penalties.
You know, and it really is, Joel. It's psychological. And we talked about this before the game and during the game and with the Cleveland Browns, and they really don't, they don't understand it. I mean, they're making mistakes that they can't really point a finger at one particular person. It's happening to everybody.
7 penalties in the game now on the Cleveland Browns. 4 alone in the second half. Kozar with pressure coming. Goes deep for Wester. Slaughter. Slaughter has a flag thrown as Hall is coming up his back, just barely. And that ball underthrown as well.
I'll tell you what happened here. Hall on the play before with Metcalf could have been called for the same thing because he did not play the ball. He's playing the man. Now watch what he does. Watch his head. Then watch where he puts his hand. Now, if he looks at the ball, he turns. All right, here he turns. But now look at this.
35.
He runs right into Slaughter. That's because the ball was underthrown.
Tough call.
That is a tough call. I'll tell you, that was just solid defense. Hall made 2 great plays. One on Metcalf and the other one on Slaughter. And the official called him for it, and I don't like the call.
Penalty takes it all the way down to the 36-yard line of the Steelers. The best penetration by the Cleveland offense today has only been to the 26-yard line of Pittsburgh. Kozar throwing on first down and throws it over the head of Ozzie Newsome. Hardy Nickerson on the coverage.
And that time, Kozar had all the time he wanted to throw the football. I mean, the offensive line held up very well for him. The only problem is he didn't have anybody to throw to. The defensive secondary of Pittsburgh, they were all over the receivers.
6 minutes, 51 seconds left in the third quarter. The Steelers with a 10-0 lead. Trying for revenge after losing 51-0 on the opening Sunday of the season to the Browns at Three River Stadium. Ball to 36. The delay to Metcalf. Metcalf breaking tackles. Gets away from Hall, and I think he got a first down. Near the 25-yard line.
Well, Hall eventually brings him down. But this young man has some moves. Eric Metcalf, number 21. Just take a look. The blocking is there. Here's Metcalf. He gets rid of Johnson right there. Hall has him. With one arm, brings him down. The man doesn't weigh that much. But he still got the first down. That's all that counts.
Steelers were telling us yesterday that Metcalf, a lot like Barry Sanders, the second round or the second overall pick in the most recent draft by the Detroit Lions, and that they're both incredibly quick. But they also told us Sanders a more powerful back. Metcalf just as quick. And now we have a timeout on the field.
They're looking at Hall. They brought in David Johnson, number 44.
The Raiders starting to pull away from the Kansas City Chiefs as the Raiders try to get to the 500 mark and win their second straight for new head coach Art Shell. Seattle still clinging to that 7-point lead at Jack Murphy Stadium. We'll see the Eagles next week, Paul. They lead the Phoenix Cardinals by 9. And that'll be the Philadelphia Eagles and the LA Raiders. First and 10. The ball just outside of the 25. So this is the best penetration today offensively by the Cleveland Browns. The delay to Oliphant. Big hole up the middle. Squirts through near another first down. Darnell Lake just barely got him.
I'll tell you, Mike Oliphant is very quick. But in order for plays like this to run, you need your fullback. And Tim Manoa is the guy I'm talking about, number 42. He gets an excellent block on Hardy Nickerson, number 54. You see Nickerson there. Now watch who comes out and blocks him. There's Manoa, 42. Look at how he just turns him. When he turns him, Little misses the tackle on Oliphant. Oliphant is there. They're going to measure it. I don't know if he has the first down or not. But that man right there, Tim Manoa, makes the running plays work. Great blocker.
Manoa is in his third year out of Penn State. 6'1", 240-pounder. And that was a perfect block on Hardy Nickerson.
All you got to do is get your body in the way. You don't have to knock the guy on the ground. Just make sure that he can't get to the runner. And here's a situation where you have second and short. You think, well, we'll run a play action pass and do something fancy. You know, as bad as they've been playing offensively, you better be patient and do some things that are just simple.
Second, less than a yard. just outside of the 15. Noah's in the backfield along with Eric Metcalf. And Kosar is throwing to the pump fake, going over the middle, and is caught by Derek Tinelli's tight end. Darnell Lake was defending against his former college teammate, as both played for Terry Donahue at UCLA.
I don't like this play, I'll tell you right now. It's a play action. And Tinell is not the primary target here. And you're seeing Lake there along with Nickerson. They're both there, and they throw it at double coverage. But Bernie was looking downfield for Slaughter or Langhorne, one of the guys downfield, but they were covered.
Third and inches now. It's Manoah. He's got the first down all the way down to the 10-yard line. Greg Lloyd, the outside linebacker, hanging on. Or Manoah is gone.
And Cody Rison is just slow getting up, and
it's been a tough day for this gentleman. Art Modell, the owner of the Cleveland Browns.
The only thing that'll make him happy is a win. They'd like to see a score here to get him back in the ball game.
Bernie Kosar, only 8 of 26 for a total of 60 yards with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third, and he's been intercepted 3 times. First and goal, just inside the 10. Oliphant on the carry. Oliphant fumbles, flags down on the play. Loose ball, who's got it? The Steelers say they have recovered, and they have come up with the ball. Greg Lloyd with the fumble recovery, but who is the penalty on?
We've been talking about mistakes and mental errors that this team has been making, the Cleveland Browns.
Turnover number 6 for
I'm
the
going to tell you
Cleveland
what,
Browns.
this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Now, remember, we did Pittsburgh a week ago when they played Cincinnati. Now, the first game, what did Cincinnati beat them 41-10 or something?
Exactly.
Destroyed them.
Offensive holding, number 68, decline, first down.
Ted Banker. Pittsburgh gets the ball. But I'm going to tell you right now, they came back and they had a chance to beat Cincinnati. We'll get back to it in a minute.
Steelers get it back. Still up by 10. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. Another fumble. Steelers capitalizing, making a recovery, getting it back first and 10. Hodge and Williams in the backfield. And Luigi Thompson, the motion man. It's Warren Williams. Big hole for Williams across the 15. Near the first down. I believe he's got the first down to the 20-yard line, yes.
I was talking about before we went away to commercial that here's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got blown out by Cincinnati in their first game. Came back and had a chance to win it last week against Cincinnati. And here they are, got killed by this team the first time they played the Cleveland Browns, 51-0. They've got them by 10 points, and they're stopping Cleveland every chance they have to move the ball. There's 6 turnovers caused by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And, Paul, what we've heard from so many of the Steelers, they're a young team, and they're growing as a unit.
They grow faster, they win this one.
They really have shown improvement from week 3 on. Delay to Williams. Williams again slamming it ahead. Past the 22 to the 23. Mike Johnson meeting him there. The middle linebacker for the Browns.
Andrew Stewart just met Tunch Hilton. Tunch put him on the ground.
Another one of the priorities for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming in today. Take this huge sellout crowd at Cleveland Stadium out of the game. And they've done exactly that.
They have, except when they get down here by the dog pound, and then they come to life no matter what happens.
Derek Hill brings in the play. One of the wide receivers along with Ouija Thompson. 2nd and 6. The ball close to the 24. Blackledge for Hill. It's complete, and it's a first down for the Steelers to the 36.
Blackledge had Michael Dean Perry draped all over his legs and still got that ball away with a lot of zip and got the completion to Derek Hill. Michael Dean Perry, number 92. Watch where he ends up. He's hit the legs and knocks Todd Blackledge down, but that pass was right on target for the first down.
And is Blackledge ever gaining confidence? He is now 4 of 4 in the second half for a total of 63 yards. First and 10 for the Steelers. They started after the fumble recovery back at their own 9-yard line. Now they've got it at the 36. Hodge, Williams, same combo in the backfield. Hodge banging his way to the 40-yard line for 4 more. We have not seen much of Tim Worley this afternoon after he hit for a career high in his brief career of 74 yards on 15 carries last week.
Had him scheduled to start. We got the tight end Malarkey down. We have really not had any word about Worley.
Let's go to Bob Costas now and get an update at NFL Live.
All right, Joel, a couple of weeks ago, if you said Bo Jackson was 11 for 85, you'd think he was in a terrible slump. But in football, 11 carries for 85 yards, not bad, especially when you should be rusty football-wise. This is his first game back. This 39-yard run against the Chiefs led to a Vance Mueller's 6-yard scoring run in the fourth. The Raiders lead KC 20-7. Joel?
All right, Bob, thank you. And let's update all the scores now around the NFL. The finals from earlier today. Houston winning on the road, just like the Miami Dolphins, who are at the 500 mark now at 3-3. The New York Giants raising their record to 5-1 with a 3-point win over the Washington Redskins. Atlanta hangs on for a 1-point victory over New England. San Francisco at 5-1 as well. A 17-point victory at Dallas. Detroit with their first win for head coach Wayne Fontes. And Green Bay losing in Herschel Walker's debut in Minneapolis. And now scores along the way in the fourth quarter. Denver in a real struggle with Indianapolis.
We had that Denver game here, and they've got another young defense that they've held Indianapolis to 3 points, and that's with Eric Dickerson and company.
They're still working on the tight end, Mike Malarkey. His first year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, his 7th in the league, after spending his first 6 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. Their only backup at that position is Terry O'Shea, and it does not look good for the Steelers.
Looking at his left knee.
So Mike Malarkey has injured that left knee. And let's just focus in on that, Paul.
All right, number 84 is Malarkey. That's Tunchuk, and number 62 is with him. Now, let's just see what happens. Oh, there it is. Where the defensive man rolled back up onto his left leg. Run that back again if we can. We can see the defensive man.
They got 4 on the carry. It brings up 2nd and 6. After the carry by Merrill Hodge. 2nd and 6 with the ball at the 40-yard line. It's Warren Williams. And Williams across the 41 to the 42-yard line. Gain of a couple.
All right, on the right of the screen, you're going to see it. And he just gets bent back, and I think that's Big Daddy Hairston, number 78, that rolled up onto his leg.
It looked like it could have been Carl Hairston. So Terry O'Shea will have to operate at tight end. Extra wide receivers coming in on 3rd and 4. Ball at the 42. They bring in Rodney Carter in the slot, and Dwight Stone is one of the extra wideouts. 2 to each side. Blackledge out of the shotgun on 3rd and 4. Big defensive play for the Browns, trailing by 10. They go for Carter, and it's overthrown. The first miss in the second half for quarterback Todd Blackledge. Tony Blaylock defending. They have the dime package in there.
All right, here's Tunchuk, and he's blocking on the outside on Bubba Baker. Bubba Baker trying to get that arm in there. He's going backwards, but look at Tunch. It just makes the play. There's no way Baker wasn't that close. Great pass blocker, Tunchuk.
His 5th year from Wake Forest, Terry Newsom, ready to hit it away to Gerald McNeil. Sensational return on his last attempt with 31 yards. That's exactly what the Browns need once again. As Newsom hangs up a high one. Fair catch called for, and McNeil has it at the 15. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of all.
If the Pittsburgh Steelers shut down the Cleveland Browns in this drive, the Browns may not score in this ball game.
Still with 1:15 left
in the 3rd quarter. I'm just saying in this drive here.
The pitch is going to Metcalf. Chopped down by Greg Lloyd with flags on the play. Gain of about 3 on the carry. Lloyd did an outstanding job to fight off a block and still get into the tackle.
Webster Slaughter just picked up the flag and threw it away.
Unfortunately,
Tim Johnson
yes.
is down. I mean, Pittsburgh, at the beginning of the season, had so many injuries. They've lost 3 or 4 people today.
They've lost Lewis Lips, their leading wide receiver. Also, Rod Woodson to a separated shoulder in the first half. Malarkey with a sprained left knee is not going to return now. We've just received word on the tight end.
Sprained left knee, and now Tim Johnson, who's had a tremendous game.
We saw him last week, Paul, and he just keeps getting better and better.
See Keith Willis, number 93, down there with him, talking to him.
Number 74. Offense.
Paul Farron.
8th penalty against the Cleveland Browns. Join us next Sunday for week number 7 of the NFL season. It starts at 12:30 Eastern with Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson and NFL Live. You'll be watching one of the 3 games at 1 o'clock. Paul and I will be in Philadelphia for the Raiders matchup with the Eagles. Then the second half of the doubleheader, the 49ers at home against the New England Patriots. That's next Sunday on NBC.
Joe, you're talking about the 8th penalty. How about the one down here on the turnover? They didn't even take it. It was a holding penalty. Another. Tim Johnson is down on the ground, and that's number 78. They just got his helmet off. They've got him finally turned over.
Johnson comes in leading the Steelers in sacks so far this season. Led them last year in that department.
All right. And that's Paul Farron, number 74, that's blocking him here. Now let's just see what happens to Johnson. He's going to all right, we'll run that back, and you're going to see number 68, Ted Banker, step on the back of his leg. Right here, freeze it, right on his ankle. And that's Ted Banker with little on him, and he steps on Tim Johnson's leg right there, and then they all go down. We're seeing more injuries just by accident. I mean, you know.
Last week, Bubby Brister.
Yeah.
Where Jason Buck is just trying to roll away from what looked like a hold by the offensive lineman, and he rolls right into the knee of Bubby Brister, and he's out 2 to 4 weeks. They're calling for the stretcher now for Tim Johnson, unfortunately. His 3rd year from Penn State. Truly one of the leaders for the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive unit, even though he's only in his 3rd year.
And there's a situation. He's just following pursuit, and he's lined up on Farron, Paul Farron, and gets stepped on by the guard, Ted Banker.
Tonight, following the game on most of these NBC stations, it's the magical world of Disney with a brand new life. Also, Sister Kate, My Two Dads, and the...
I know, and you know, it really hurts any injury at all. But when you see all of a sudden, here's a Steeler defense just coming really into its own. A young defense. The guys are playing together, getting all their game together. And take a look at the starters. In the starters, here goes Tim Johnson out. Woodson's out. And, you know, the continuity of the defense, I mean, we really lose it. Players getting injured, and they had enough injuries as the Pittsburgh Steelers at the beginning of the season, and they overcame that.
So in the span of about 2 or 3 minutes, they lose Malarkey with a sprained left knee. And hopefully it's not a severe one, but Banker, as you can see on that isolation, was stepping on the back of the leg of Tim Johnson one more time.
Here it comes. And just take a look at Tim Johnson, number 78. Look at his left leg, and then Banker will step, or his right leg, excuse me, and step right on his ankle. And and then Paul Farron is driving him to the ground. There's just no place to go, and the ankle gives.
So Tim Johnson departs. Steeler fans are tired of seeing this. They saw it last week with 35 seconds left in the game when they had to cart off their quarterback. Their fiery one. What a competitor Bubby Brister is.
Oh. Tough guy.
First down after the penalty against the Browns first and 17 with the ball back at the 9. Kozar over his last 11, going to Slaughter. He's wide open. Complete pass to 35 for a first down. Everett made the hit at the 37-yard line. Kozar had missed his last 11 straight before finding Slaughter.
He finds him because Eric Metcalf runs some people off. Now just take a look. That's Brian Hinkle. He lets him go. But downfield is Metcalf, Eric Metcalf, and when he runs people off, Everett finally comes up and makes the play, but nobody covered Slaughter.
Manoa and Metcalf stay in the backfield. First and 10 near the 38-yard line. Kozar throwing again to the quick out. Slaughter tries to tiptoe the sideline. He did not stay in bounds. Updating the scores around the NFL. Denver had a 7-3 lead in the third. They've increased it to 14-3 now in the fourth quarter at Mile High Stadium. The Raiders continue to stay on top of the Chiefs by 13. And the New Orleans Saints trying to pick up their second win of the season. Lead the Jets by 13.
Everybody's in the fourth except us, but we'll be there in 7 seconds.
Tim Johnson, unfortunately, on his way for x-rays. Seven seconds left in the third. Second and 10 situation for the Browns at their own 38-yard line. Kozar on the dump off and throws that over the head of Eric Metcalf.
Ooh.
Kozar was working in tight quarters as well, in all fairness.
Well, he was working in tight quarters, and Metcalf could hear David Little coming down. I mean, I don't know if he had a chance to get it or not, but that is one of those deals where I'll let that one go so I can play another play.
Kozar only 1 of 8 so far in the second half. Blackledge off to an outstanding start in the second 30 minutes of play. Kozar for the game, only 9 of 29, a total of 89 yards. And he's had 3 intercepted. Movement on the line, no flags. Kozar firing it for Slaughter. It's incomplete.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Somebody had to mess up the play because you've got Slaughter and Brian Brennan, the 2 guys in the same spot.
Tough day offensively, and it continues for the Cleveland Browns.
The third quarter with 3rd and 10 situation. Now take a look. 86 and 84 in the Brown jerseys. That's the Cleveland Browns in the same position. Woodruff is there. David Johnson, number 44, is there. And Larry Griffin, number 22, was there. But there's no reason for 2 receivers to be in the same spot. Mental errors, folks, plus good defense.
Pittsburgh ready to get it back. Derek Hill waiting for the punt from Brian Wagner. And Wagner gets it to turnover. Hangs up a beauty. Taken to the 15-yard line by Hill. Nowhere to go. And he loses a couple in the return with a flag down on the play.
That's got to be a face mask.
Will that be penalty number 9 against the Cleveland Browns? Lawyer Tillman down on the special teams to make the stop.
And Tony Blaylock, I think number 24, is down. Lawyer Tillman is the guy that's going to get the face mask. Tony Blaylock's hurt.
15-yard penalty.
Oh, this is blatant deal here. Number 85 on Hill. Now, that, you see, he just turns his whole head and whole body around and holds on. That's why it's a 15-yard penalty. I think every one of them should be 15 yards. I'm sorry.
I agree with you. 9th penalty of the day against the Cleveland Browns. That makes it 27 over the last 3 weeks, and we still have 14:49 left.
Yeah, but how about there's been a couple of them that have been refused?
First down.
Steelers have it first and 10 outside of their own 28.
This miss.
8 turnovers between the 2 teams.
How about passing?
By the Cleveland Browns. And one of the darkest days in the career of Bernie Kosar. Hodge stays in the backfield and gets it. And goes absolutely nowhere. Al Bubba Baker in on the stop for the Cleveland Browns.
Al Bubba Baker makes a stop, but David Grayson and Carl Hairston and Michael Dean Perry, they just jammed that middle, and there's just no place to run.
We just received word that Tim Johnson suffered a sprained ankle and will not return. So, if ever there was an injury that was good news because it's not that severe.
It's just a precaution when they take him off on a stretcher like that, Joel.
So it is a sprained ankle and not a break for Tim Johnson. 2nd and 10. Looking for Warren Williams. It's complete. Past the 30 with flags down again at the 33-yard line.
David Grayson was all over Williams coming out of the backfield. It's got to be holding. I mean, this thing's getting sloppy. How many penalties is that now for Pittsburgh?
Steelers, I believe, just picked up their 6th. We'll find out.
Holding. Offense.
You know, the Cleveland Browns have been penalized more yards than they've gained passing, haven't they?
Offense number 85.
Terry O'Shea, the backup tight end. You know why he's in there, because Malarkey went down with a sprained knee.
That is 7 penalties for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's not a record, but it ain't a bad average.
Ball is back to the 19-yard line. Where it's now 2nd and 20.
Timeout, Pittsburgh.
Blackledge couldn't even hear himself on that. Had to call a timeout. We'll be right back to Cleveland after these messages from your local station. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a 10-0 lead over the Browns at Cleveland Stadium. As we welcome you back once again. Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. The last time the Browns were shut out, it was by Seattle, at Seattle, in September of '84, the last time they were shut out at home. The Los Angeles Rams pulled the trick in November of 1977. 2nd and 20 situation after the timeout for Blackledge and the Steelers. They're back at their own 19-yard line.
Here comes Cleveland.
Blackledge over the middle, and it's dropped by his receiver. He wanted Rodney Carter out of the backfield.
Blackledge red blitz right away. And here comes Carter. He's going to be covered by the other 24. Blaylock right here. The ball is behind him. One-hand deal. That ball's already on the ground. Trying to rustle a ball out. It's on the ground, Tony.
Blackledge now 9 of 25, 143 yards. One touchdown toss that went to Rodney Carter, and he's had one pass intercepted as well. The extra wide receivers come in now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Blackledge out of the shotgun on 3rd and 20. Blackledge going deep, one stone, and overthrows his receiver. Thane Gash providing the coverage. The Browns ready to get it back, and they should get it back barring a turnover. In good field position once again. It's the final now in Denver. The Broncos defeat the Indianapolis Colts. The Broncos also at 5-1. Raiders still lead by 13. San Diego getting back to within a point of Seattle at home. Eagles try to raise their record to 4-2. Newsom's in to punt it away. Gerald McNeil has already got a 31-yard return. He's back at the 40-yard line. Short, low line drive. McNeil sets it up to the near side. Can he turn the corner? No. Parnell Lake rips him down by the shoulder pads. But still, they get it at the 48-yard line.
He just has frosted the cube.
Lake with the special teams play. And the Steelers still by a beautiful sunset tonight over Lake Erie as the Browns get it back 1st and 10 at their own 48-yard line. They're down by 10. That's Keith Jones. On his way down the sideline. He wasn't touched. So he got back up. He got about 4 on the reception to the 48-yard line of Pittsburgh.
Well, that was some great hustle by Jones. I mean, he had to go down to get the ball. And then he got made a couple of moves on Brian Hinkle, number 53, and then it picked up 5 yards on the deal. Now, this is what the punter does when the offense gets the ball. Get over there and start rooting for your team. Don't worry about punting the ball. You're inside the 50. Have some confidence, son.
He's had enough practice today.
I know, 6 of them. Get up there and help.
Second, a long 5. Near the 47-yard line of the Steelers. Brown throwing again. For Slaughter. It's complete for a first down inside the 40. They worked on the cornerback, Kelton Hall.
I got a feeling that they're going to come back and hit old Ozzie. Ozzie just said something to Bernie Kosar, Ozzie Newsome, going into the huddle, because they're trying to cover him with a linebacker. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bernie go to Ozzie.
Ozzie already has 1 grab today to run his streak to 149 straight games with a reception. Langhorne, the motion man, on 1st and 10. Kosar from Manoa. Knocked up into the air and intercepted by Cornell Lake. What an interception. Fourth interception of a Kosar pass today.
And Cornell Lake, you talk about heads-up play. Manoa, Bernie was looking for Ozzie, but Ozzie fell down. Okay, so now he goes back out to Manoa, number 42. And watch Cornell Lake tip this ball up in the air and then go after it. What great concentration by the defensive back. And that hand was underneath it. You don't have to replay that. That's an interception.
And he wasn't even a D-back, a defensive back in college. He was an outside linebacker.
But that was just tremendous concentration and hustle.
This young defense really growing together for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And they've had some adversity in this ball game, but they're sticking with it. We really need to be proud of the Pittsburgh Steelers today.
They lost their starting cornerback, Rod Woodson, early in the game in the first quarter to a separated shoulder. Still, though, they're shutting out the Browns. The option pass for Carter to a wide-open Merrill Hodge. Out to the 30-yard line for a 1st and 10. Let's go to Bob Costas and NFL Live for an update. This year for Joe Alton and the New York Jets, but we just saw a brilliant play by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rodney Carter on the option pass to Merrill Hodge.
A very safe play. I mean, nobody's going to cover Hodge. They did. Gash is the closest man to him.
1st and 10 for the Steelers. Gain of 15 on the reception. They're out to the 30-yard line with Thompson in motion, leading the blocking for Rodney Carter, but I think they used too much time. Flags down. Most likely delay of game.
Delay of game, offense.
Big Al Bubba Baker has been complaining the entire game about being held. Now, he's over there playing on Toncho, who is by far the best offensive lineman of the Steelers, maybe on this field today. And he's just done a great job on Baker. Baker can't get rid of him. Just shaking his head. I mean, everywhere I go, here's this guy. 62.
Carter and Hodge in the backfield. We have not seen Tim Worley for 1 snap in the second half. The delay to Carter. Stacked up near the line of scrimmage. Got a yard to the 26. On 1st and 15.
All right, now here's Bubba. He's going to read run here and play run. Sanchokin is going to come out the block on Bubba Baker. Here's 60, setting him up. Now watch this. He gets rid of him. The play was already made back in there, and here's Bubba. Slowed down, he puts the finishing touches on it. The man who made the play was Mike Johnson, number 59.
Clock continues to roll. 10 minutes, 18 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Steelers with the ball in a 10-point lead. Baker's in his 12th year out of Colorado State. 2nd and 13. The ball near the 27-yard line. Thompson in motion again. Play action for Blackledge. Pressure comes, goes for Thompson, in and out of his hands. Good coverage by Harper on that play. Tonight, the magical world of Disney presents an all-new episode of A Brand New Life starring Barbara Eden, followed by the no-nonsense comedy Sister Kate and My Two Dads. Then it's a world premiere movie. Dick Van Patten, the entire Bradford family invite you to attend an 8 is Enough wedding. That's tonight only on NBC.
I'll tell you what, this Cleveland Brown offense, the way they've been playing today, they could be on Disney World. There were so many mistakes in my life.
3rd and 13 for the Steelers near their own 27-yard line. Rockledge will work out the shotgun. 3 wide receivers to one side. He's got time for Carter, and it's knocked away. Bragg's in there. Perfect timing on the coverage. Final at Mile High. Denver wins by 11 and raises their record to 5-1. The Raiders trying to even their mark at 3-3. Go 2-0 under head coach Art Shell. And the Seahawks trying to get to the 500 mark as well. Philadelphia by 9 still at Phoenix. Harry Newsom ready to punt it away for the Pittsburgh Steelers. For the Browns, Gerald McNeil. Not a lot of hang time. McNeil dodges the first to the 40. Good return already to the 50 and into Steelers territory inside the 45. To the Pittsburgh 43. So when we come back, Cleveland will get it in Steeler territory. Only 9 minutes and 39 seconds left, and the Browns still shut out by that Steeler defense. They get it, though, for the first time today to start a drive in Steeler territory at the 43. Metcalf lunging up the middle near the 41 for a gain of about 2. Dropped in a hurry by David Little, the inside linebacker.
You know, I have to mention this, though, Joel. I was down there before the game started, in the pound, down with the dog people, and there are some lovely people down there. And, you know, the team made a great effort this week to talk to them. The owner talked to them. The players talked to them. And they've been very, very good. Controlled doggies down there.
I think it was what you did during NFL Live.
That's right.
Set the tempo today, Paul. 2nd and 7. Ball near the 40-yard line. Kozar looking deep over the middle for Langhorne. Tipped away by Delton Hall, but a flag goes down on the play.
It was on Hall, but, man, I'm telling you, I don't know.
Tough call again on that young man.
It is a tough call. Now, you see Hall 35, and here comes Langhorne across the middle. Now, is this pass interference? Up. I'm going to tell you what. That left arm that is a good play. That is a bad call. Hall could not have played that ball any better than he played it there.
Couldn't have timed it more perfectly.
No, I'd like to see it one more time. Here it comes again. Just take a look at it. He's not hitting him. There's no contact there. Now look at that. Arm goes in and knocks the ball away. That is a bad call.
1st and 10. Down to the 14-yard line of the Steelers. Inside, give to Metcalf. Bounces outside. And moves it to the 11-yard line. All of that on his own.
You're absolutely right, because there was no hole up in the middle where he was going.
12 carries for 56 yards for Eric Metcalf. He had an outstanding day on the ground and caught 3 passes for 28 yards against the Dolphins last week. It has definitely been one of the darkest days of Bernie Kosar's young career, though. 11 of 33 for 103 yards, and he's been picked off 4 times.
And I can tell you right now, if they don't get a touchdown here, they'll go for the field goal just to get on the board.
2nd and 8, the ball at the 12. Kosar swings it to a wide open Metcalf. To the 5. Is he in? He's out of bounds. Just short of the goal line. Out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Knocked out there by Thomas Everett.
He gets a first down, though. That gives him some fresh 4 downs. And here comes Metcalf to the outside. And you're right. That was Thomas Everett. There was no touchdown there. Everett, number 27, is going to come in and make the stop. Now, I don't know who was supposed to be covering Metcalf, whether it's Everett's man or not. You can see where Metcalf steps out on about the 1.5-yard line. You got a bull in there, Manoa.
Steelers bring in an extra down lineman. Newsom in motion. It's Metcalf on first and goal as he wins. Yes, touchdown Browns.
Whoa, Jack. I gotta see that, because if he isn't over when he dives, he's not over when he hits the ground. Here it comes. Now watch Metcalf. He dives in the air there. The ball is over. It breaks the plane. Now he's knocked back. It was touchdown. That's what I was talking about. When he hit the ground, he wasn't over, but the ball did break the plane when he was in the air. Good call. Bad call on the pass interference.
Eric Metcalf with a 1-yard touchdown run. That's his second touchdown on the ground so far this season.
Well, if they're reviewing this, they better not look at it when it's a touchdown. Sure it is. Watch it when he goes up in the air here. This ball is over the plane of the goal line. Now he's pushed back. He already broke the plane. Once he did that, it was touchdown. One good one, one bad one.
Barr brings them within 3. Still plenty of time. Exactly 8 minutes left in the contest. Another look at the touchdown run.
Eric Metcalf, this young man was bound and determined to get the touchdown, and he's got Banker out in front of him. But watch this. When he goes up, here's where it's touchdown now. No matter what happens after this, it's already a touchdown.
The 2-time NCAA long jump champion looked like he was diving for the pit.
Yeah, they don't go head first, do they?
Eric Metcalf rumored this past week to be involved in a potential deal for Mike Rozier of the Houston Oilers, but Ernie, of course, he told me before the start of today's game, the Browns general manager, nothing is cooking as far as he is concerned, but they still have time. The trading deadline is Tuesday at 4 o'clock. So all of a sudden, Cleveland Stadium is rocking and rolling. They've got their 79,000 fans into the game.
And for 52 minutes, they basically had this crowd out of this ball game, and now the crowd is back.
That was a 4-play, 43-yard drive. Took a minute 39 off the clock. Wagner will kick it away. Dwight Stone, the deep back. Normally it's Rod Woodson. He's gone with a separated shoulder. From the 4, it's Stone. Gets to the outside, past the 20, past the 30. He's to the midfield stripe. He's only going to beat Wagner, and Wagner gets to him at the 25-yard line. Exceptional return by the receiver, Dwight Stone. 73 yards.
Well, hey, watch this. Stone goes to his left, but then when he comes upfield, he'll go to his right. And look, at all the Cleveland players are bunched over here. Lawyer Tillman, 85, gets caught to the inside. He is the safety man. Once he misses, the only guy left is the kicker. And here he comes. Nice play. But they have the ball at the 25-yard line.
Steelers found a way to take the crowd back out of the game.
There's Lewis Lips. He's still got his pads on. We haven't seen Lewis.
Slight hamstring injury very early in the, well, actually on the final play of the first half. And Lips is not returned. Hodge and Williams in the backfield on 1st and 10 at the 25 of Cleveland. Hodge getting to the outside and getting a big block downfield. Gain of 8 to the 16. Ouija Thompson with a great block.
Ouija Thompson hits Thane Gash, number 30. And then Thane hits somebody else, and it's a linebacker. It's 56 Grayson. Watch Ouija. Here comes 87 here. Now watch what he does with 30. That's Thane Gash. Bang! He hits him and knocks Gash into Dave Grayson, and Grayson goes down. What a bad block. All right, Ouija.
Ouija felt it, though, in the shoulder.
No. But he took 2 people out of there. That'll be in the highlight film, Ouija.
They're losing wide receivers, though. Now Jason Johnson comes in for Ouija Thompson, second-year man out of Illinois State. 2nd and 1 at the 16-yard line. Give goes to Ray Wallace. He's got the first down, lunging inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Clock continues to roll with 6:54 left. A rare road victory for the Houston Oilers. Miami upsetting Cincinnati on the road. The Giants 5-1 with that victory today. The 49ers also at 5-1. Detroit gets their first win of the year. And the Raiders at the 500 mark with that win over the Chiefs. First and 10. The Steelers have it at the 13. Movement on the line by Michael Dean Perry. Was he drawn off?
He said he was.
Ball starts, number 71.
That's Ricketts. When Ricketts moves, Michael Dean Perry goes down. There's Ricketts' movement. See, now even though Michael Dean Perry is across the line of scrimmage, he can be there because he can get back as long as he doesn't touch anyone. But once an offensive lineman is set, he cannot come out of that set position.
10th penalty of the day on the Pittsburgh Steelers. 121 yards in assessments. A couple of those, though, on long interception calls. Or long interference calls, rather. First and 15, back of the 19. Blackledge in trouble. He's down. And a flag down on the play as well.
Now, let's all for naught because it's going to be a face mask call against Al Bubba Baker, number 60. And it's going to give Pittsburgh an automatic first down. Blackledge just ran a play action. Baker gets by his man, and here's the face mask right there.
Cleveland, first 15 yards.
15-yarder. That's not wasting these 15-yarders. He had 1-5 and 2-15. Baker goes to the outside, gets by the blocker, but he grabs the face mask. Clay Matthews is in there. That's first down. That moves the ball to the 12-yard line, first and 10.
They take it from the point of the infraction, right at the point of the sack, down to the 12-yard line. And now a discussion between Pat Haggerty and his linesman. 20 penalties so far in the game.
200 yards in penalties. For this, we have 200 yards in penalties. Pittsburgh so far, they have 220 yards total, 221 total yards, and Cleveland's 202.
Ray Wallace coming out. Warren Williams checks back into the backfield along with Merrill Hodge. First and 10, the 12-yard line of Cleveland for the Steelers. It's Hodge ramming it up the middle, inside the 10, near the 7-yard line. And more importantly for the Steelers, they keep the clock moving with 5:35 left.
They keep the clock moving, and if they get the ball inside the, or at the 2-yard line, they get a first down again. Now Hodge goes off, and he looks like he's holding his arm. His left arm is not moving.
Ray Wallace will check back in then. It'll be Wallace and Williams. Second and 5. The ball at the 7. After that gain of 5 by Hodge. Weegee Thompson in motion. Delay to Williams. Weaves his way inside the 5. Before he's knocked backwards, he got close to the 4-yard line. Gain of 3 on the carry. Carl Hairston in on the stop for the Browns. The Browns have to hold the Steelers to a field goal.
Hodge is all right. He's coming back in the game. You know, this would be a great situation. The way the Cleveland Browns are all jammed to the inside, to see Blackledge run a bootleg. Ooh, huh?
So you're calling a naked bootleg on 3rd and 2.
No, I don't think they're going to do it. I'd like to see it. The way they're all jammed inside might work.
3rd and 2 at the 4. Pittsburgh trying on their first 3rd down conversion. I think they've got it. Warren Williams stacked up right at the first down marker near the 2-yard line.
He's got to get to the 2.
Gash and Johnson combining on the hit. Steelers say they have it. 0 of 11 in 3rd down conversions before that try. Stops the clock with 4:05 left. His team has lost 2 of their last 3. Very close games, losing in overtime to Miami last week. But don't talk to Chuck Noll about it after what happened to the Steelers at Three Rivers against the Bengals. They're just short by inches. Now a very difficult decision for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They go up by, or they go for 3. They only go up by 6.
Yeah, but the thing about it is going up by 6 is that you force the Browns to score a touchdown and not a field goal to tie you. That is the difference. Now, me, I kick the field goal. Chuck Noll, he goes for it. Maybe they'll go for a long count. Who knows?
Cleveland Browns have used their first time out of the second half.
Blackledge is 6'3". Cleveland Browns take a timeout. Blackledge is 6'3". All he has to do is lean a little bit.
6'3", 230-pounder in his 7th year from Penn State. His 2nd season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's got a 1-1 record against the Browns. That was as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. And looking ahead to the 7th Sunday of the NFL season, Steelers were ready to go for it. And it appears they're going to stay with it. I probably call Hodges' number if I don't go with the sneak.
Well, you got 3.
But I agree with you. I wouldn't even involve the risk of handing the ball off. I'd go with the sneak with Blackledge. They've got Hodge in the backfield with Warren Williams. The wing is Wallace.
And Cleveland just called another timeout. They just ran Felix Wright in there, and Cleveland called a timeout.
Do they have enough men on the field?
They only have 10 tonight. Wait a minute, let me count these. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think you're supposed to have 11.
Do you think Bud Carson's disgusted as he throws down his headphones? They use another timeout. They've only got 1 left now with 4 minutes and 5 seconds remaining.
The worst part about it, though, is that Felix Wright ran onto the field, Joel, to make the 10th guy. They only had 9.
All week long, the Browns have been talking about eliminating the mental mistakes, but it continues today.
Now they have 12. Okay, Hanford's coming up, so they're back to 11.
4th and inches, just outside of the 2. Hodge and Williams in the backfield. Double tight end set with a wing back.
They're going.
Blackledge has the first down. First down, Steelers, and goal to go.
They get Hairston and Perry to submarine. Now watch what Blackledge does. He just takes 1 quick step back and then right over the top. Cleveland Browns all buried. Offensive linemen just fall on top of him. Leaves that angle open and Blackledge over the top.
This drive started at the 25-yard line. It was all set up by that 73-yard return after the kickoff by Dwight Stone.
And the Steelers are using Ray Wallace as the 2nd tight end.
Blackledge over the top. He did not get in. Inside the 1. Clock is stopped momentarily with 3:11 left. Steelers lead it by 3. Now they'll restart the clock. 10-7 Pittsburgh. And as we mentioned before, only 1 timeout left for the Cleveland Browns when they eventually get the ball back. That's Rick Strom, the backup quarterback today, sending in the signals to Todd Blackledge. And he was just brought off the developmental list due to the injury to Bubby Brister.
He's just saying, you.
And now Blackledge upset because he had to use a timeout.
Now, there's an awful lot of confusion. They're throwing some things at him. Remember, this is his first start this year. And Blackledge wants to make sure he gets it straight. They're at the half-yard line. They've got the ball at 2nd down less than 1. You don't want to make a mistake. Sure didn't want to take a timeout there either way to stop that clock because they could have run it down to the 2-minute warning. Now they're left with only 1 timeout.
Steelers are trying to snap a 7-game losing streak for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time they beat Pittsburgh, or last time they beat Cleveland, it was November 3rd of 1985. Finals around the NFL. A couple of fourth quarter scores. As New Orleans is now pulled away from the New York Jets. Art Modell, the owner of the Cleveland Browns. His team is looking at potentially their third setback in their last 4 games. Blackledge ready to go on 2nd and goal. Inside the 1. Blackledge on the bootleg. Doesn't get there.
Joe, I don't think this was a bootleg call. I really don't think so. Watch Blackledge. He's looking for a back to give the ball to, and I think what happened is that Warren Williams went the wrong way. If we could show that again, Warren Williams goes straight up into the line of scrimmage instead of coming off the tail. Blackledge goes to look for him, and he's not there.
Bane Gash and Eddie Johnson catching up with the quarterback.
All right, look at 42. He goes this way, right? Blackledge was looking for him, but at least Williams had enough presence of mind to block somebody.
2-minute intermission. 2 minutes.
We have now reached the 2-minute warning, believe it or not, at Cleveland Stadium. With the Steelers knocking on the door. Absolutely magnificent autumn evening in Cleveland on the shores of Lake Erie. We welcome you back to Cleveland Stadium. I'm Joel Myers along with Paul McGuire. The Steelers hanging onto a 3-point lead, trying to punch it in for what would be, you would think, the clinching touchdown. They've got a 3rd and goal at the 1. Steelers have had the ball a good portion of the second half, as those numbers indicate. And if you've just joined us recently, a tough day for Bernie Kosar. A lot of that attributed to the outstanding work in the secondary of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And a lot of credit going to the Steelers' defensive unit in that secondary to Delton Hall. He was called on a pass interference call that looked like a shaky call at best. And Hall subbing today for the injured Rod Woodson. But the matter at hand, 3rd and goal at the 1. Hodge in the backfield with Warren Williams. Carter, the motion man. Blackledge on the pitch to Williams. He should be able to make it. He's in. Touchdown Steelers.
What an excellent call, Joel. They just put people in motion, put Carter out there, looked like it may be a pass play, and then ran a toss. Cleveland Browns are all bunched inside thinking, wait a minute, this has got to be up the middle. But that was a super call by the offense.
Anderson trying to make a 10-point lead for the Steelers. And he does so. We'll be right back to Cleveland Stadium. Some breathing room now for the Steelers. 2nd year for the University of Miami with the touchdown run on the quick toss from Todd Blackledge.
Well, you can just see that everybody is playing to the inside, and Carter gets an excellent block on Clay Matthews on the outside. And look at it. Watch this reaction. That's Worley. Chuck Knowles happy. 10-point lead. 1:56 to go. That man's not happy. I'm not happy at all.
That was only a 25-yard touchdown drive, but the important number, they took almost 6 minutes off the clock.
That is absolutely amazing.
And gives so much credit to the great return by Dwight Stone. A 73-yard kickoff return after the Browns had drawn within 3. Eric Metcalf waiting for the kickoff from Gary Anderson. The squibber goes to Braggs at the 10. Braggs dumped out of the 12. That was Jason Johnson, the extra wide receiver, on the special teams.
Well, it's a 10-point lead, but they only want one of the major problems. The Browns only have 1 timeout. So
the Steelers with a victory, their first since '85. They will move to the 500 mark, while the Browns will fall to 3-3. Extra defensive linemen as they go with 4 down linemen now. The Pittsburgh Steelers bring in Lorenzo Freeman. Kozar out of the shotgun on 1st and 10 from his own 12. Looks for Manoa. And Hardy Nickerson was with him every step of the way.
This is
For a 1st and 10. He was working on the safety, Carnell Lake.
Well, you got a minute and 32 seconds. Slaughter catches the ball, gets a first down. Get out of bounds. That's why he threw the ball over there on the sideline. You only have 1 timeout left.
1st and 10 from the 30. Pocket collapsing. Kozar's down at the 30. He fumbled the ball. Will they say he was already down? Yes. Lorenzo Freeman getting the quarterback.
Their hurry-up offense right at the line of scrimmage. That clock is moving. We're getting inside of 1 minute.
2nd and 10 for the Browns. Kozar to the sideline for Slaughter. It's complete. That stops the clock with 49 seconds left. Pulled it off in front of the extra defensive back, David Arnold.
That's what Slaughter should have done the last pass that he caught. It would have saved about 30 seconds or 20 seconds on the clock.
Browns going to their hurry-up offense, even though they could huddle if they wanted to, because the clock was stopped. Kozar again for Slaughter in front of Arnold. It's complete for another first down. I'd like to thank our statistician today, Marty Schigler, and our spotters, John Betchko and Dave Montgomery. First and 10 at the 39. Kozar is looking for Langhorn. It's incomplete. Our producer today, George Finkel, and our director, Brian Sheriff. "37 seconds left. Browns are down by 10. And again, the Browns defense today, Paul, doing just about everything they could. But Kozar only 15 of 39 for 162 yards and 4 interceptions. Ball batted down. A.J. Jenkins getting to the face of Bernie Kozar.
I think
Gerald Williams,
number 91, got his hand up in there. These guys are just teeing off and going. And this is the part of the game where defensive linemen just love it. Because all they do now, they have no run responsibility whatsoever. Just head down and head for the quarterback.
3rd and 10. Kozar going out for Slaughter again. It's complete. And now they say he was out of bounds. It'll bring up 4th and 10. Time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is Todd Blackledge for the Pittsburgh Steelers, subbing for the injured Buffy Brister. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of Todd Blackledge, the MVP, selected in our contest today. Blackledge today, numbers not all that impressive. 9 of 28, 143 yards, but he didn't make that many mistakes in his first start of the season. Kozar on the scramble, trying to get to the sideline, and he does so as he takes a big hit on his way there from Larry Griffin.
Boy, this whole place just cringed, and so did I. We saw Kozar 2 weeks ago. He broke out and looked back. Now watch what he does again, Joel. Here he comes out. Now watch what he does. Couple steps out, he's going to look back to see if there's anybody chasing him. Worry about the guy in front of you, Bernie. What he's trying to do is get to that first down marker. Griffin, to sacrifice the quarterback. He didn't make it. Did not make it.
Did not make it on 4th and 10. He comes up short, and the Steelers celebrate. Hardy Nickerson in particular. The Steelers get it back for the final 15 seconds.
One snap, one knee. This game's history.
Final at Phoenix. The Eagles win over the Cardinals, 17-5.
Well, there's a man that's been through a lot of adversity. They wanted his head the first couple of weeks in Pittsburgh. And look what he's done to the two teams that blew him out. Cincinnati had a chance to win the ball game, didn't do it, and then he came back into Cleveland, got beat by the Cleveland Browns in Pittsburgh, come back here and beat Cleveland. Unbelievable.
The Browns losing to the Steelers as the Steelers snap a 7-game losing streak. And they win at the same time. For the first time in Cleveland since 1981. That Pittsburgh Steelers defense overcame a great deal of adversity today because of the injury early to Woodson. We'll be right back to Cleveland to wrap things up as the Steelers win it by trace their record to 3-3 while the Cleveland Browns drop to the same.